Whether you are 18 or 60, your world will change by the end of this video. So if you believe my words, keep watching. Humans have a dark side. If you lack a good understanding of this dark aspect of human nature, you will not only experience constant unease but also miss out on many successes in your life. Therefore, in this video, I will introduce you to humanity's dark side and simultaneously explain how you can protect yourself from it. The book we're discussing is titled Dark Psychology and Manipulation. First, let's understand what dark psychology actually is. We humans are increasingly forgetting our self-worth. We don't know why we are so restless, what the purpose of our lives is. Nowadays, we seem to have become mere objects. People use us for their own interests. And when we observe everyone around us using each other, we too begin to use others. The most potent method of using others is through the application of dark psychology. Dark psychology and manipulation is a subject that every person will want to learn about. The reason for this desire won't be to manipulate others, but rather to ensure that no one can manipulate them. Because undeniably, an inner voice resonates within all of us. When we do something good for someone, we feel good. But when we harm someone, that inner voice gnaws at us. However, there's no shortage of people in the world who have silenced their inner voice. And if such individuals aim to harm you using dark psychology, they can inflict significant damage. You might believe that dark psychology hasn't been used on you, perhaps thinking that the people around you aren't well educated or clever enough. But the truth is, dark psychology has been used on you since childhood. In fact, we all apply dark psychology to each other, consciously or unconsciously. However, if there is a person who has understood and studied the techniques and concepts of dark psychology, and if that person applies dark psychology to you, your life could be destroyed. So, first we will learn what dark psychology is. Our second topic will be dark psychology traits, where we will explore narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism. Our third topic will cover psychological manipulation tactics, meaning we will learn about the strategies used to manipulate through dark psychology. In the next topic, we will understand how to identify a manipulator so that we can protect ourselves. Following that, we will learn what a manipulator actually does to us when they attempt to manipulate us using their techniques. The subsequent topic will address which types of people are most easily manipulated, identifying the preferred victims of manipulators. Finally, we will learn how to save and protect ourselves from this manipulation. Dark psychology is an art and a science of manipulation and mind control. In general psychology, we strive to understand how our brain functions, how our thoughts drive our actions, and how we interact with each other. In dark psychology, we seek to understand those thoughts and actions in ourselves and others that are predatory in nature, essentially, how we view others as prey. In essence, in dark psychology, we are going to comprehend the tactics that cunning and malicious individuals employ to manipulate you, persuade you, or exert pressure on you, all so they can exploit you or cause you harm. If someone takes advantage of me and I suffer no harm in return, then there is no problem. But what is happening nowadays is that people harbor a great deal of envy towards each other. Toxicity is escalating among people. Consequently, rather than merely taking advantage, individuals increasingly use dark psychology to belittle others and attempt to harm them. Generally, when someone uses dark psychology, there is always some motivational force behind it, and primarily 4 types of motivations are at play. The first is to make money, the second is to gain power, and the third is when a person seeks revenge on another. They might also use dark psychology. The final reason could be to gain sex. However, these motivations are not exhaustive. Many other types of motivations can exist. And given the rising toxicity among people, it seems that individuals also use dark psychology to diminish and harm others. This dark psychology can manifest in various ways in different people. In some, it can manifest in a very dangerous manner. For instance, arsonists enjoy setting fires. They will set fire anywhere, a house, someone's field, because they find pleasure in it. Similarly, necrophiliacs are attracted to corpses. This illustrates that the manifestation of dark psychology can be extremely dangerous. However, such dangerous expressions are rarely observed. Now, let's delve into the 4 dark psychology traits. These traits are narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism. For a long time, psychologists referred to these dark human traits as the dark triad because it primarily included 3 characteristics: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. However, in recent years, another trait, sadism, has begun to be included in this group. Thus, what was once the dark triad has now become the 4 dark psychology traits. You need to be aware of these so you can recognize such individuals and protect yourself from becoming their puppet, meaning you can understand when you are being manipulated by them. Before we proceed with the video, there are 2 crucial points to remember. Firstly, all these traits exist on a spectrum. This means you cannot definitively say that Mr. A is a sadist while Mr. B is not. These traits are present in all of us. What truly matters is their degree of presence. If these traits are particularly strong in an individual, then that person is dangerous and is labeled a narcissist or a sadist. In other words, you might observe narcissistic traits in me and in yourself, but since they are not strong, you would not be categorized as a narcissist. Secondly, it is not a prerequisite for only one trait to be strong in a person. An individual might be a narcissist and a sadist simultaneously. Therefore, if you do not comprehend these traits, you will be unable to recognize such people. And when you cannot recognize them, you will also be unable to confront them effectively. So let's begin the video. Subscribe to my channel. The term narcissist or narcissism originates from Narcissus, a character from Greek mythology, specifically appearing in Greek folklore. He was a hunter, exceptionally attractive and charming, causing people to fall in love with him. Women fell for him, and in return, he merely deceived everyone, subjecting them to emotional torture and abuse. What transpired one day? The goddess of revenge cursed him. Subsequently, he sat by a pond and saw his own reflection. The moment he beheld his reflection, he fell in love with himself. What happened next? His life ended right there, consumed by his self-love. It is often said that these narcissists love themselves excessively, but the true reality is that they do not genuinely like themselves. What do? They construct a false image of themselves and cherish that image. To protect this image, they are sometimes observed helping others, and for the same reason, they can also inflict harm on others. In truth, the assistance from such individuals rarely serves any genuine purpose. Thus, understand that they do not love their true selves, but rather a false image or a fabricated persona. You will identify 4 types of traits in these narcissists. The first is a high degree of grandiosity. The second is superiority. The third is dominance, and the fourth is entitlement. Due to grandiosity and superiority, these individuals believe they are distinct from others, superior to them, and possess greater power. What occurs due to the trait of dominance? These individuals strive to control the people in their vicinity. That is, they attempt to make those around them dance to their tune. What happens due to entitlement? These individuals perceive themselves as very special. If they attend a wedding, a party, or any social gathering, they believe they should receive special attention. The moment they arrive, people will flock around them from all directions. Narcissists are also skilled at forming new relationships. This leads people to believe that such an individual is very pleasant and sociable. However, the true situation is the opposite. The new relationships they forge are created under some form of motivation. In other words, they establish contacts, not genuine relationships. Simultaneously, another observation is that a narcissist is typically surrounded only by those who agree with them. Now, let's explore the 4 dark psychology traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism. For a long time, psychologists referred to these dark human traits as the dark triad, primarily encompassing narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. However, in recent years, sadism has also been included in this group. Thus, what was previously the dark triad has now become the 4 dark psychology traits. You need to understand these to recognize such individuals and protect yourself from being manipulated by them. Before we delve deeper, remember 2 crucial points. First, all these traits exist on a spectrum. This means you can't rigidly classify Mr. A as a sadist and Mr. B as not. These traits are present in all of us. The key lies in their intensity. If these traits are significantly powerful in someone, that person is dangerous and is labeled a narcissist or a sadist. So, while you might observe narcissistic traits in me or yourself, you wouldn't be called a narcissist if they aren't dominant. Second, only one trait doesn't need to be strong in a person. A narcissist, for instance, could also be a sadist. Therefore, if you don't grasp these traits, you won't be able to identify such individuals. And consequently, you won't be able to effectively deal with them. Let's begin the video. The terms narcissist and narcissism derive from Narcissus, a character in Greek mythology. He was a captivating and charming hunter, causing people to fall in love with him. Women were enamored, but he merely deceived, emotionally tormented, and abused everyone. One day, the goddess of revenge cursed him. He later sat by a pond, saw his reflection, and instantly fell in love with himself. Consumed by self-love, his life ended right there. While it's said narcissists love themselves excessively, the truth is they don't like their true selves. Instead, they create and adore a fake image of themselves. To protect this image, they might help others, but they are equally capable of harming others. Ultimately, help from such individuals is rarely genuine. Understand that they don't love themselves, but rather a false self or persona. You'll find 4 main characteristics in narcissists: high levels of grandiosity, superiority, dominance, and entitlement. Due to grandiosity and superiority, these individuals believe they are unique, superior to others, and possess greater power. Dominance leads them to try and control those around them, making others dance to their whims. Entitlement makes them believe they are exceptionally special. If they attend a wedding, party, or any social gathering, they expect preferential treatment, imagining people will flock around them. Narcissists are also adept at forming new relationships, making them appear amiable and sociable. However, the reality is the opposite. These new relationships are formed with a specific motive. They create contacts, not genuine connections. Furthermore, a narcissist is typically surrounded only by those who agree with them. What happens if someone disagrees with a narcissist? The narcissist will try to manipulate them into agreement. If that fails, they will distance themselves from that person and possibly even defame them purely out of revenge to teach them a lesson. This implies that if people around a narcissist are happy, they are likely sycophants with weak spines. So I've broadly discussed narcissists. In fact, many more videos will come on narcissistic personality, for which I will create a separate playlist. Next, Machiavellianism. These individuals exhibit 2 key traits: deceitfulness and manipulation. They are deceptive and manipulative, making no distinction between right and wrong. If something benefits them, it's deemed correct, irrespective of the harm it causes others. For such individuals, life is a zero-sum game, meaning their gain only comes from others' loss. Consequently, they don't hesitate to harm anyone to further their own interests. The term Machiavellian comes from Niccolò Machiavelli, an Italian political philosopher who wrote The Prince. This book explains how politicians manipulate ordinary people and seize power. This political philosophy can be understood as, if harming others serves your interests, then do so. The book teaches that cunning, deceit, and manipulation can be used to achieve goals. If someone displays traits associated with Machiavellianism, they cannot form deep relationships. Their connections tend to be superficial because they prioritize their own advantage everywhere. True relationships, however, require occasional sacrifices. A crucial point: narcissists, sadists, and psychopaths might harm others for their own amusement. But those with strong Machiavellian traits harm others in a rather logical way. They will only cause harm if it benefits them, never for amusement. They can even mentally break others for their own gain. However, in certain situations, they do consider others' emotions. Specifically, when they realize that mentally harming you for their benefit could lead to you harming them in return. In such cases, they refrain from playing such games because they are highly rational. Individuals with a Machiavellian personality possess cold empathy, not hot empathy. Cold empathy allows us to understand another person's distress, but hot empathy involves taking a step further to help them. Since they have cold empathy, they recognize weakness but exploit it instead of offering help. These are the people behind today's white-collar crimes and are clearly visible in politics. The Prince itself is a book on political philosophy. Among the 4 dark psychology traits, Machiavellianism is the most malevolent. This means that psychopathy can cause you the most harm. A psychopath has almost no empathy. These individuals show no concern for others whatsoever. At the same time, they are dangerous because they exhibit extreme impulsiveness. High impulsiveness means they can do anything, as they give no thought to the consequences of their actions. Additionally, they are thrill-seeking and do not consider the pain they inflict on others to experience that thrill, precisely because they lack empathy. Identifying a psychopath is very difficult because they appear like normal people, yet they possess neither sympathy nor empathy. Nevertheless, being highly manipulative, they try to present themselves to the world as if they understand others' suffering and care for them. They are, in essence, actors. Indeed, if someone is a manipulator, they will naturally be an actor. Movies often portray serial killers, supervillains, or bombers as psychopaths. But understand this: Psychopaths are normal people among us. They are not easily recognized. Their true nature only becomes apparent to those who fall into their trap. Now the question arises, can a psychopath be treated? Is there a cure for psychopathy? The answer is no. If a person is an adult, they cannot be fixed. Adult psychopathy has no cure. However, if identified in childhood, the progression of these psychopathic traits can be halted. Efforts can be made to develop sympathy and empathy in the child. Let me now explain the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath, as these two terms are often used interchangeably, but they are actually distinct. Sociopaths are antisocial. They enjoy breaking societal norms and traditions without considering if the traditions they break were truly bad or if they were contributing to human inner development. In short, they despise every societal tradition. The reason for this is likely that, as children, these sociopaths may have suffered significant harm or emotional mental abuse disguised as societal norms. Or perhaps as children, they observed that some people around them who broke traditions and disregarded norms became very successful. This could be why that child became a sociopath today. That is, sociopaths are those whose upbringing had flaws. Psychopaths, however, are born psychopaths. They are psychopaths from birth, but where they are raised after birth determines their future. If a psychopath is born into a family and society where people are very good and caring, receiving much love from childhood, then the psychopathic traits within them will not be able to grow. They will, in other words, grow up as a normal person. But if a psychopath is born into a family and society where there is much violence and physical and mental exploitation, then this person could become a very dangerous psychopath in the future because they would have received the environment necessary for their psychopathic traits to flourish. So, there is much more information about psychopaths that I want to share with you, and I will do so later. But for understanding dark psychology, the information I have provided in this video is sufficient. A primary characteristic of a sadist's personality is callousness. They are somewhat cruel by nature. They also have little concern for others' feelings. They can be somewhat emotional and manipulative. Since their emotionality and manipulative behavior are within normal limits, the dark psychology traits were originally just 3: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. But currently, sadism has also been included among the dark psychology traits. It is not difficult to identify a sadist. Just look around you. Among them, you will find some people who enjoy cruelty. They are likely sadists. You might also observe sadistic traits in narcissists, Machiavellians, and psychopaths. However, you will also find some people who are neither narcissists nor Machiavellian personalities, nor psychopaths. They are simply sadists. Now let me tell you about their behavior. These sadists are internally motivated to inflict pain on others. That is, they possess an inherent drive. Even if the other person is innocent, these sadists enjoy causing pain, so they will not spare an innocent person. At the same time, if a sadist knows that inflicting emotional pain on another person could result in their own pain or emotional suffering, they will still not back down from causing emotional pain to the other person. In short, for sadists, this cruelty or ruthlessness feels pleasurable and exciting. For some people, ruthlessness is sexually stimulating. You've heard of that sexual fantasy, haven't you? The BDSM sexual fantasy. This sexual fantasy can only exist in people who have sadistic traits, albeit to a very limited degree. Because if you have no sadistic traits whatsoever, then this sexual fantasy is not for you. You will not enjoy it. If a sadist causes you distress, gives you tension, and you don't confront them or keep your distance, then this sadist will receive a green light and will continue to cause you distress and tension. In short, you need to oppose these sadists or maintain distance from them. Let me tell you what else sadists can do. Suppose you've confided a secret to someone and that person was a sadist. What will happen? Even if that person promised not to tell anyone your secret, they will intentionally reveal it to others, because when your secret is exposed, you will be bothered. And when you are bothered, the sadist will enjoy it. Machiavellian personalities destroy others' reputations to get ahead of you, whereas a sadist will do this so that when your reputation is ruined, you will be bothered. And when you are bothered, they will enjoy it. You also see these sadists in the workplace. Take a look around your office. There will be some people who seem to cause tension for others for no reason. Perhaps a task could have been completed without tension or pressure. But suppose your boss is a sadist. What will they do? They will certainly create tension for their employees, because when their employees are stressed, the boss will enjoy it. These sadists can also create unnecessary pressure in your personal life and relationships. Because when you are bothered about your personal life, they will enjoy it, and they might even feign sympathy from the outside. They might also steal your belongings, not because they need the item, but because they will find pleasure when you are bothered. Internet trolls are also sadists. They don't oppose something because they disbelieve it or think it's wrong, but rather because when they oppose you, you will be bothered, and when you are bothered, they will find it amusing. And yes, if you start responding to these internet trolls, they gain more power. So ignoring internet trolls is the best decision. Sadists have certain preferred professions, such as police, military, or other similar professions, where there is an opportunity to beat and hurt others, and their actions are considered lawful. To maintain law and order, you might have seen protests where the police are ordered to disperse them. The police arrive and start a lathi charge. You might see some police officers there wielding their sticks with full force. Sometimes, other police officers even have to intervene to protect the person being beaten with full force, because the intervening officer is essentially just doing their job of dispersing the protest, while the first officer, who was using full force, might have been a sadist. In fact, it's generally observed that the proportion of sadists in police forces is slightly higher than in society. I hope you've understood the 4 dark psychology traits. Now I'm going to discuss the 13 most commonly used and powerful psychological manipulation techniques. So, let's enjoy. Gaslighting. This is the most dangerous method of manipulation, but it works quite slowly. This means its effects are gradual. But if a manipulator applies this technique correctly to someone, that person can be driven insane. It makes people doubt their own memory, their perception, and the reality of their lives. They become full of doubt. Let me explain this with an example. Suppose a friend of yours behaved badly with you, insulted you, but for some reason, you didn't think it was right to say anything to them at that moment. But a few months later, when you meet that friend again and remind them of the incident, if your friend is a manipulator, they will deny the incident and tell you, "No, buddy, I could never do that. Forget doing it, I can't even imagine it. But if I made any mistake unintentionally, please forgive me." The moment your friend says these things, a thought will come to your mind that perhaps it happened unintentionally that day. Perhaps they had no such intention. If such a thought has crossed your mind, congratulations, you've been gaslighted. Because just a moment ago, you knew that your friend intentionally insulted you, but as soon as your friend said a few words, what came to your mind? Perhaps it happened unintentionally. This is just an example, but the truth is, normal levels of gaslighting keep happening to us, no matter how smart we think we are. So let me go further and explain where the word gaslight comes from. In 1938, a play called Gaslight was staged in Britain, and later, in 1943, a film with the same title, Gaslight, was made. I'll briefly tell you the story of this film. What happens in it? There's a house and only 2 people live in it, husband and wife. The wife was completely dependent on her husband and also trusted him deeply. But the husband was very cunning and manipulative. So, it occurred to him to make his wife feel like she was going crazy, or was already crazy. In that house, there was a gas-powered light, a gas light. So every night the husband would dim and brighten the light, dim and brighten it. And when the wife saw the light dimming and brightening, she would ask her husband, "Why is the gas light dimming and brightening?" The husband would say, "Where is it dimming and brightening? It's burning perfectly fine." And these incidents continued for several months. Every time the light dimmed and brightened, the wife would ask, and the husband would directly deny the incident, saying that the light was working fine, and perhaps she was losing her mind and going crazy. Now, the wife had no one else to confirm with, and at the same time, she fully trusted her husband. So it began to sink into her mind that perhaps she was going crazy, and slowly, she did go crazy. So the word gaslighting came from here. And yes, this movie can probably very easily gaslight your partner. I'll explain this with an example of a husband and wife. Suppose the wife is completely dependent on her husband. In this case, the husband can very easily gaslight his wife. How? Let's understand. First, the husband will start telling small lies to his wife. The wife will know that her husband is lying, but she will still ignore it because she is completely dependent on her husband. At the same time, the wife will try to convince herself that it's a small lie. Ignore it. But these lies will increase. Then what will happen? As the husband's lies increase, one day the wife will get angry and tell her husband, "Why did you lie that day?" Then what will the husband do? He will deny it with full confidence and say that he didn't lie. And he might even yell at his wife at the same time. As soon as this happens, the wife will become anxious because a distance has started to form with the person she was completely dependent on. Now, whenever the husband tells a lie, the wife will start ignoring it because she has no support. And at the same time, if she opposes that lie, she will want to avoid the pressure she would have to endure. And then, slowly, she will start accepting even the husband's big lies. That is, the husband's lies will become the truth of her life. Let me explain this with another example of a husband and wife. Suppose there is a husband who is trying very hard, continuously trying, but despite all efforts, he is failing, and slowly his confidence is decreasing. So, if his wife is cunning, she can very easily bring her husband under her control. So what will she do first? She will isolate the husband from his loved ones. After that, since the husband has no confidence in himself, slowly, the wife's perspectives will become the husband's perspectives. To make any decision, the husband will look at his wife because he has no confidence in himself. And the wife will also slowly try to make him feel that he doesn't understand the world, and he doesn't understand life either. This is why he is continuously failing. Then what will happen? The wife will also behave badly, but the husband will not be able to oppose her. And the wife will occasionally make the husband feel that she loves him very much. What will happen slowly? The wife will start making the big decisions in life. That is, who to have a relationship with, who to break up with, who to fight with, and who not to fight with. The wife will decide everything. The husband will also feel that his wife is right, and the rest of the world is his enemy. And if the husband is too foolish, on one hand, he will follow his wife's words, and on the other hand, he will also think that he is making his own life decisions. Now, how gaslighting occurs at a societal level. I will explain this with two examples as well. The first example, gaslighting is easy where stereotyping is done. For instance, traditionally, it has been said that women lack knowledge of the outside world, so they shouldn't interfere in external matters. They should only oversee household chores. Additionally, it has been said that people of lower castes do not possess as much knowledge as people of higher castes, because God has given more knowledge and intelligence to higher caste people. Therefore, if any woman or lower caste person believes these things, it is very easy to gaslight them because they have no self-confidence. The second example, the relationship we have with God is extremely personal. The prayers we offer are done in silence, not by shouting. But through thousands of years of mental conditioning, it has been instilled in people's minds that any prayer offered by you will only reach God when it is performed by a special class of people. Humans have an understanding of truth. But despite that, people listen to the words of certain shrines or certain babas exactly as those special classes of people have said. This is because people have no self-confidence. People think, what if what these people have said turns out to be true? That is, if we pray alone, then God might get angry with us, and his wrath will descend. And the society we have created, the economy we have built, and the structure of life we have established are such that troubles keep coming into our lives. That is, problems keep arising in our lives. Then, as soon as any problem arises in our lives, those people who conduct the prayers come to us and tell us, since you didn't perform that prayer according to all the rituals, these problems have come into your life. And we accept those words as truth because we have no self-confidence. So, is all this gaslighting of the entire society through thousands of years of tradition? We all have an understanding of truth, but still, we live our lives exactly as these traditions tell us to. Now, let's understand the methods of gaslighting, and these methods show their effects over a long period. For example, someone did something wrong to you or broke a promise. And later, when you remind that person why they did that wrong or broke that promise, what will the other person do? They will directly deny it and say that they didn't do anything wrong to you and didn't break any promise. What happens in this? Suppose you are telling someone something important, but the person you are telling that important thing to is a manipulator. Then what will they do? Whenever you say those things, they will look at you as if they don't understand what you are telling them. And after some time, they will start pretending not to listen to you. And if this happens to you frequently, then you will never again tell them about their bad behavior. You will start tolerating everything because they have continuously broken your self-confidence by ignoring your words. And you have started thinking about yourself that perhaps your words are not of any special importance. What will happen in this? Suppose you told someone about an incident that this and this happened that day, and these people messed everything up by using their intelligence. Now, if the other person is a manipulator, do you know what they will say? They will say that your memory is not good. That didn't happen that day. Rather, this happened. That is, they will tell a counter story. Since you are completely dependent on them, you will find it reasonable to believe their story because you also need to avoid pressure. You won't argue. Understand this too. Suppose one day your girlfriend behaves badly with you. Now you want to talk to her about that incident. But if your girlfriend is manipulative, do you know what will happen? You will start talking, but after some time, you will see that your argument has moved to another topic. The main topic has disappeared. So what happened here? First, your girlfriend stopped the main discussion, and then very cunningly, she diverted that discussion elsewhere. For example, suppose you told your girlfriend, "Why did you behave badly with me that day?" Then your girlfriend will say, "It's true that I behaved badly with you, but I did it because you did this to me 10 days ago." And then the discussion will start on whether you behaved badly with her 10 days ago or not. And then you will start defending yourself that you didn't behave badly. This is exactly how it works. A proverb from a village related to this comes to my mind. Went to worship Hari, got stuck plucking cotton, meaning we went out to worship God, but we got stuck extracting cotton from cotton seeds. This is very normal. In this, the manipulator makes you understand that what you are saying has no special importance, and they will tell you that you are being a bit too dramatic about what happened that day, too emotional. There's no need to be so dramatic or emotional. That is, they will try to diminish the importance of your words. So these are some methods of gaslighting. Although these methods might not seem dangerous to you, if you are completely dependent on someone and these things happen to you for a long time, then they become extremely dangerous. Your control over your own life almost vanishes. Now let me tell you how to recognize if you are being gaslighted. Whenever someone gaslights you, many problems will start to appear in your life. By properly analyzing those problems, you will be able to recognize if you are being gaslighted. Just a moment ago, you clearly knew about an incident that had happened. But now, if you have doubts and are wondering if it really happened, then you are probably being gaslighted. You have become completely alone. No one believes your story. Then you are probably being gaslighted. You know very well that you are not at fault, yet you feel that you need to apologize. Then you are being gaslighted. When someone gaslights us, as a result, our self-confidence and self-esteem gradually start to diminish. So, if this is happening to you, see if someone is gaslighting you. You are stuck in a bad situation in life. You are annoyed. You want to change everything. Yet you cannot change. You have become hopeless. No one believes your story, your words. Then you have probably been gaslighted. Whenever someone gaslights you, you will become depressed. Anxiety will reach its peak. Your self-esteem will be destroyed, and you will not be able to make decisions in your life. And if the situation reaches an extreme level, you will feel as if you are going crazy. Now, let's understand why people do this. Gaslighting is very common in abusive and toxic relationships. These abusive and toxic relationships can be related to professional life as well as personal life. In this, the manipulator does this to completely control their target and make them dependent on them. Once the other person becomes completely dependent on the manipulator, what happens next? The manipulator will abuse them as they wish. If you are being gaslighted, you now understand how you can deal with it. Always stop looking at the other person's face for every decision, for every word. Learn to trust your intuition and inner feelings. Whenever the manipulator misbehaves, keep a proper record of it, and in the future, whenever you remind them why they did that, and they say they didn't do it, then you will clearly remind them which day, at what time, and in front of whom they misbehaved. Do not create dependency on anyone, and do not isolate yourself from your loved ones. You should have some people in your life with whom you can share everything. You can seek their advice. You can know their perspective. If possible, move away from the manipulator. Do not try to stay connected with them due to emotional weakness. When you start to feel that all the advice I have given above is not working for you, you cannot save yourself, then I am here. Projection is a psychological manipulation technique where a person attributes their faults and negative emotions to others. It is also a type of defense mechanism where we humans try to avoid taking responsibility for our negative emotions and negative behaviors. Everyone uses it to a small extent. We do this because we humans have a natural tendency to try to shift the responsibility for our negative emotions and negative behaviors onto someone else. For example, suppose one day I get angry, then what will I say? I got angry because of you. Or when we get stuck in a bad situation, what do we say? This happened because of you. In short, it's a normal thing because, suppose I got angry, then it's possible that the other person was truly at fault. So, if you do some projection, it's not bad, because blaming yourself for everything is also not right. If you blame yourself for everything, you will soon start hating yourself. And anyway, others can also be at fault because we humans are social animals. We create a society where we influence others and are also influenced by others. So it can happen that the other person made a mistake and you got angry. That is, a little bit is acceptable, and it's also necessary. But if a person is manipulative or has a lot of other dark personality traits, then that person will use this projection beyond a limit. Before moving forward in the video, here's some important information for you. Now you can share your problems with me and also get my advice. Follow BookBuzz. In this video, I am going to explain with various examples how projection is done, what its consequences are, and I am also going to tell you what you can do when someone projects onto you. It is quite difficult for toxic people to admit their mistakes. These people will always blame others, even for small things. In short, they try their best to project their negative emotions and negative behaviors onto others. For example, suppose your boss frequently comes to the office late. So if you come late even one day, they will directly blame you, saying that you frequently come late. Second example, suppose a person who is a kleptomaniac keeps telling others that their belongings have been stolen. Third example, suppose a person tells a lot of lies, then they may tell you that they hate lies, yet you lied to them. The person who is cheating in a relationship or whose mindset is like cheating, that is, who has already cheated many people, it's possible that person will tell you that you are cheating on them. Even if they don't say it, they may make you understand through their behavior that they suspect you, asking if you are cheating on them. Let me explain with an example. Suppose your partner is cheating on you, then do you know what they will do? They will check your phone calls. Your normal partner will only do these things when you start behaving somewhat differently or are mentally absent. Then insecurity might arise in them, and they might spy on you. But the manipulative person who is cheating themselves will do all these things even when you are behaving completely normally. Now, understand what the consequences of projection are. Manipulators do this to control you, to keep you in a defensive mode constantly. These manipulators keep even very small details in their minds so that at the right time, those small details can be used to control you. Suppose your partner, who is also a manipulative person, makes a baseless accusation against you. And as soon as that person accuses you, it will come to your mind that it is important to explain to them that the accusation they made is not correct. That is, you will think of defending yourself, even though you didn't need to defend yourself, because the one who makes a mistake defends, and you started defending without making a mistake. So, who became your boss here? That manipulative partner. Let me explain with another example. Suppose your partner is a manipulative person, and one day you find out that they are cheating on you. But before you talk to them about it, they themselves accuse you of cheating on them. Then what will happen? First of all, you will think of defending yourself. After that, your courage will decrease to tell your partner, "Why are you cheating on me?" Because your partner has already put you in a defensive mode by accusing you. Oh friend, even if you bravely tell your partner, "Why are you cheating on me?" Do you know what they will say? They will say that I asked you for an answer, and you started accusing me in return. Whenever you are defending something, you are not the boss. That person is the boss to whom you are defending yourself. So, a manipulative partner will, from time to time, blame you for small things to maintain psychological pressure and control over you. They will blame you for such small things that you will wonder how a person can blame you for such trivial matters. That manipulative partner will continue to blame you for these insignificant matters and will ask for an explanation every time. The ultimate result will be that the manipulative person will slowly gain complete control over your life, and you won't even realize it. Let me tell you something interesting. Whenever someone projects their negative emotions onto you, you naturally start to feel sympathy and empathy towards that person. For example, someone accuses you, "Why did you behave badly with me that day?" Then you will immediately start defending yourself and say, "No, friend, I didn't do that. And if something happened by mistake, I'm sorry for that." In short, you will try to completely reassure them, and you will do this because somewhere you feel sympathy for them. When a manipulative person makes false accusations against you in front of many people, you might not want to respond because you know, what defense can I give for a false accusation? But the people around you will start expecting an answer from you and might even start telling you, "Why are you so quiet?" At least state your side. This happens because the people around you who consider themselves very smart but are not actually smart think, what would they do if they were in such a situation? They would immediately defend themselves. It becomes very difficult in such a situation, doesn't it? When you don't want to respond to that false accusation, but the people around you keep expecting an answer. Therefore, whenever someone projects onto you, try to set aside your emotions and deal with the situation logically. In short, if the other person misuses their brain, then don't respond with your emotions. If the other person is cunning, then you also show the power of your brain. We all have a social support system that includes our family members, our friends, and our well-wishers. These people help us in bad times, guide us, and whenever we need advice or counsel, we first seek it from them. Therefore, manipulators know very well that if someone is to be brought under control, to be made to dance to their whims, then first and foremost, that person must be removed from their support system. So manipulators try to distance their target from those people with whom they share their thoughts. The purpose of this is that when the manipulator starts using their target, the target will have no one from whom they can seek help. So here, manipulators basically do two things. First, they completely isolate their target from their loved ones. The correct word here is thrive. As social beings, if we humans want to progress in life or be successful, we need the approval and affection of others. What does approval mean here? For example, if you're doing something and someone tells you, "You're doing well, keep it up," that's a form of approval. And you already know how much love and affection help us move forward in life. Even introverts who don't care much for or talk much with others still need others' approval and affection. If they don't get it, their lives start to feel incomplete. When a manipulator gives the silent treatment, it means they are withdrawing the love and affection they were previously giving. The resulting psychological tension and pressure are indescribable. Then, to regain that affection and love, you might agree to concede to the manipulator's demands, which you were previously unwilling to accept. In other words, you will submit to the manipulator's demands. While all this might seem trivial to you, imagine if the person you love most, without whom your life feels incomplete, starts doing this to you, starts ignoring you, stops talking to you. What would you do? Let me explain this with an example. Suppose there's someone you can't live without. You're quite attached to them, and you've become accustomed to their love and affection. Now that person wants you to do something. What will happen? They'll ask you to do it and you'll refuse. Then what? That person will start ignoring you. They won't answer your calls. They won't reply to your WhatsApp messages. The mental turmoil created by this silent treatment will cause many thoughts to flood your mind, such as, "Did I make a mistake? That's why they're not talking to me. Why aren't they talking to me?" This thought will come to your mind. "Oh God, what happened?" Now you'll call them, message them, but they won't answer your calls or reply to your messages. After 2 or 3 days, when you can't bear it anymore, you'll go to them and ask what happened. Then that person might say, "What's the point of talking to you? You don't listen to anything I say." So they'll speak as if you didn't listen to them or give them any importance. After this, you'll accept the manipulator's words because sometimes, to save a relationship, it's necessary to humble yourself. And I made a mistake, so I need to keep them happy. Here, you need to remember that sometimes, to save a relationship, it's necessary to humble yourself, but not for every little thing, not all the time. And also remember that the demands you are bowing to should not go against your life's values. But to define your life's values, you need to deeply understand your life, break free from the web of mental conditioning from childhood, and move towards complete freedom. Only then will you truly understand yourself. Now listen to the final point. Silent treatment is a bad habit that increases in a relationship over time. If the manipulator succeeds the first time, they will use it a second time. If they succeed a second time, they will use it a third time. So it's your responsibility not to let it escalate further. Intimidation means to scare or threaten. It comes in 2 types, covert and overt. And a manipulator can use both types of intimidation to instill fear in your mind. Then what happens? You will submit to the manipulator's demands, meaning you will surrender. Overt intimidation is also called bullying. In this, the manipulator will directly threaten you to fulfill their own desires, or they might show you how angry they are and that they can do anything in a fit of rage, even fight with you. And if you don't yield to their demands, they might actually start a fight with you. Such people are generally quite aggressive and also have authority issues, meaning they want to suppress the people around them. Those who threaten covertly or indirectly are just as violent as those who threaten overtly. But these people are cunning. They know that if they threaten directly and openly, society and the people around them will know their true nature, which could damage their image. At the same time, people who threaten covertly are more dangerous because their true nature never comes out to the world. They calculate their threats so carefully and use such words that you will understand you've been threatened, but you won't be able to convince the people around you. This will happen for two reasons. Firstly, such people hide their true selves and appear as good people in the eyes of the world. And secondly, such people use methods or words for threatening that can have many meanings. So, when you tell someone that person threatened you, do you know what people will think? People will think, he's such a good person. How could he threaten like that? And then they will start trying to convince you, saying, oh, he didn't threaten you. Maybe his words meant something else. Maybe he said that for your own good. Why did this happen? Because his threat was such that it could have many meanings. But you don't have to worry. I will teach you how to deal with them in the future. So, what you need to do now is keep understanding all the manipulation methods I'm teaching you well, okay? And watch the whole video. Because the hardest part is that we often can't even recognize manipulation. One trial learning is an experience that happens to us only once and brings about a permanent change in our behavior. That is, the experience is so traumatizing and powerful that we never make that mistake again. Let me explain with an example. Suppose you were traveling somewhere by train. A tea vendor came and you bought and drank tea from him. Then what happened? You fell ill due to food poisoning. You vomited the whole way. Now you might never drink tea on a train again. This is one trial learning. That is, one experience. And your behavior changed forever. When we humans lived as hunter-gatherers, hunting for food, one trial learning was directly linked to our survival. Suppose you were an early human. You saw a fruit tree, picked and ate the fruit, and fell ill and died. Now, your early human friends would spread this news throughout the early human society that this fruit is poisonous. Never eat it. Another example of one trial learning is often seen in our schools, which is called corporal punishment or physical discipline. Now, suppose a child made a mistake in school. So, the principal or teachers might beat the child severely. Now the child will no longer make that type of mistake, because when they think of making a mistake again, they will remember that beating. Is this also one trial learning? But the good news is that beating in schools has stopped because such beatings have very severe psychological effects. At the same time, corporal punishment also negatively impacts children's self-esteem, from which they can never recover throughout their lives. I will make a video on this topic someday in the future. Now manipulators can use traumatizing one trial learning to change your behavior to suit their own wishes. It's possible the manipulator will burst into rage over something, start swearing at you, and fight with you. That is, they can use anything as a means of one trial learning. I'll explain things with a final example. Suppose your neighbors often play music at a very loud volume and sometimes even turn on their music system at night. So one day you tried to talk to them very logically, but what did that neighbor do? They burst into rage in front of everyone, hurled abuses, in short, created an entire scene. After this incident, you became so traumatized that now, whatever they do, you started tolerating everything, formed a habit of tolerating. This is called traumatizing one trial learning manipulation, which the neighbor used to control your behavior. So, do let me know in the comments if anyone has ever manipulated you in this way. Distortion of information is an extremely powerful psychological manipulation technique because it relies on information that is open to interpretation. That is, all information manipulation depends on this, and the same information can have different interpretations in different situations. When a manipulator manipulates facts, they are technically not lying, but morally they are. They use information in a way that benefits them or allows them to harm others. A manipulator can use three methods to manipulate facts. Firstly, cherry-picking facts. In this, the manipulator will only present the information that benefits them. Secondly, omitting certain facts. In this, the manipulator will hide information that could reveal their true identity or harm them. Thirdly, taking facts out of context. For example, suppose someone said something about someone else in jest. The manipulator, for their benefit, will present that humorous comment to the world as if it were said seriously. Machiavellian politicians, or those with a Machiavellian mindset, are adept at fact manipulation. Such politicians will state false information with such conviction that it sounds like eternal truth. In the future, I will make videos about these Machiavellian politicians because such leaders are very dangerous for any country and its people's future. Before moving on, know one thing about facts. No matter how undisputed a fact may be, it can still have various interpretations. So, let me now explain fact manipulation with various examples. First example, the excuses that are made are also a type of information manipulation. So a person who can make good excuses will not tell a lie when making an excuse, but they will only say as much as is needed to get their work done. Suppose a child didn't go to school. So the next day, when the teacher asked, "Why didn't you come to school?" the child said, "Grandma was ill." Now the teacher said, "Okay, sit down." Now the child didn't say that their own grandmother was fine. It was a neighbor's grandmother who was ill. So you see, even a small child used dark psychology to manipulate their teacher. Second example, in this, manipulators blame the victim, that is, the person who is being abused. Suppose in a relationship, the wife is the manipulator, and for some reason, she gets angry with her husband. Then, to scare and control her husband, she leaves the house. And when the husband gets scared, she returns. Later, she will tell the husband, "I am so annoyed with you and the people of this house that I don't know what to do." Now, what will the husband think? Poor thing, she's very annoyed, that's why she took such a step. In the second case, the husband, in a fit of rage, hit his wife. Then he told his wife, "You forced me to hit you." Now what is the wife thinking? Perhaps Chintu's father was very annoyed, that's why he hit me. Besides, he's such a good person. For the husband in the first case and the wife in the second case, I offer 5 seconds of silence. Now let me explain another fact manipulation technique. This is called withholding of key information and strategic disclosure of facts. In this, the manipulator will provide correct information, but their intention will be to manipulate the other person, even with that correct information. Because the manipulator knows very well that when they give any information to the other person, how the other person will react will depend on their mood. Are they happy, angry, under pressure, or calm? Suppose your brother wants to spoil your relationship with a friend of yours. So, one day your brother learns something about your friend that could cause you tension. So, your brother will deliver that information to you at a time when you are already angry or under pressure. Then, as soon as that information reaches you, your anger will go out of control, and you will lash out at your friend. Your brother did this because if he had given that information when you were happy, you might have ignored it or not reacted so strongly to your friend, and your relationship with your friend would not have soured. But your brother wanted to ruin the relationship. Withholding of key information and strategic disclosure of facts are two tactics very commonly used in any interpersonal relationship, business relationship, and political discussion. Politicians use this tactic daily. For example, suppose a report comes out that could damage the government's image or reveal its true nature. So, first of all, the government will try to ensure that the report is not published at all, or if it is published, some information is removed. But suppose the government has a legal obligation to publish that report exactly as it was created. So now the government can do 3 things. Firstly, if the government truly believes in democratic values, they will allow the report to be published and be prepared to face criticism. Secondly, if the people running the government are weak in democratic character, what will they do? They will publish the report, but before that, they will try to ensure that the report does not get much media coverage. For that, they will create some very insignificant issue before the report is published. And then the TRP-hungry media will stick to that. And the report will not get media coverage, as a result of which people will not even know about that report. Thirdly, if the people running the government are very cowardly and have an autocratic mindset, then you know very well what they do. They already control the media. So, they will just tell the media, "I have to publish this report, but make sure that the information doesn't reach the people." The rest of the media personnel know their job well. Besides, there are many other ways to manipulate information, such as exaggerating information, presenting information in a sensational way, downplaying the importance of certain information, etc. To control someone's mind, you don't need any supernatural powers. Instead, if you have a good understanding of human emotions and human behavior, you can control your target's mind. Therefore, if you want the other person to think what you want, feel what you want them to feel, and behave as you want, then this can be done through mind control. Here you need to remember one thing. Mind control itself is not a manipulation technique. Rather, by using all the manipulation techniques I have discussed so far in this series, you can mind control anyone. For example, what do cult leaders do? In India, what do the Babas do? They brainwash their followers and first give them the feeling that they have special powers by the grace of God. And slowly, this brainwashing progresses so far that the followers of these Babas start considering them as God. Even when any kind of criminal charge comes against these Babas and it is proven in court, still the followers of such Babas believe that the Baba has been framed and that he is a good person. For example, there is a young Baba in Madhya Pradesh. According to this Baba, By the grace of God, he has some powers with which he can know everything about others. There are millions of people in India who believe in this Baba's miraculous powers. This is mind control. I think the government of India should also use these Babas to find out who has how much black money and where that black money is hidden. Or the government can ask these Babas where China has hidden its nuclear weapons, because this Baba is an expert in this matter. It's not that mind control can only be used for wrong purposes. Rather, good habits can be changed and new good habits can also be created through mind control. Mind control is primarily based on information. All our thoughts and beliefs are learned. And the method of learning is information. Here too, information should come from sources we trust. This is why leaders with an autocratic mindset try their best to control what information reaches people. This is why they control the media. Similarly, Babas first associate themselves with a temple or God, because temples and God are associated with our faith and trust. Logic doesn't work in trust. Then what do the Babas say? In the name of God, they convey the information in words that suit their own calculations and benefits to their followers. In short, what do these Babas do? They use people's trust in God, their faith, for their own benefit. Now, understand a few more things about mind control. Our human brain is hardwired for survival. And the most essential thing for survival is information. So, if any information is repeatedly conveyed to us through various means and media for a long time, then even if we know that this information is wrong, we humans start to believe that information. For this reason, even the smartest people start believing in the miraculous powers of Babas and start giving them donations. Or, one after another, smart people are brainwashed and turned into terrorists. To understand mind control, you should do one thing. Watch 100 videos on any conspiracy theory. In the end, you will see that you too have started believing in that conspiracy, either partially or fully. Mind control is easy where a person is dependent on another. That is, the person you are dependent on can very easily mind control you. This is why one should proceed in relationships with intelligent and supportive people, not with someone who is manipulative, controlling, and toxic. In a relationship, if a person controls their partner's emotions, then they can very easily mind control their partner. Also, remember that the person who uses their brain everywhere, even where relationships are based on emotions, if their partner is emotional, then they can very easily mind control their emotional partner. So, if emotional people want to protect themselves, they need to learn emotional intelligence. For this, follow BookBuzz. I will teach you this thoroughly. And yes, emotional dependency is not essential for mind control. However, mind control can be done if there is financial dependency or any other kind of dependency. Let me explain with another example. You have heard about Stockholm Syndrome. What happens in it? Suppose a kidnapper kidnaps someone for ransom. Then the kidnapper keeps the person they kidnapped with them, tied up with ropes. Now, in such a situation, the hostage will become completely dependent on the kidnapper. Now, since the kidnapper also wouldn't want their hostage to die prematurely, because then they wouldn't get the ransom, and other problems could also arise. So, they will fulfill the hostage's basic needs themselves, such as food and other necessities, and it's possible that the hostage starts talking to the kidnapper. Then the kidnapper will tell false or true stories from their perspective about why they kidnapped them. And after hearing all the stories, the hostage starts feeling sympathy for the kidnapper and feels that the poor person was helpless. That's why they kidnapped me. You must have seen these kinds of things in movies, but here, understand why this happened. This happened because the hostage was completely dependent on the kidnapper. And the greater the dependency, the easier it is to mind control. You have also regretted that the mind control in this story happened subconsciously. The kidnapper was not consciously trying to mind control their hostage, but still, they mind controlled their hostage, because the brain is hardwired for survival. And in this situation, who is helping the hostage survive? The kidnapper. The hostage's attraction to the kidnapper or feeling sympathy towards them is Stockholm Syndrome. Now listen to the last thing. No matter how smart you think you are, if the situation is favorable for mind control and someone wants to mind control you in that situation, they can mind control you. Mind games are essentially custom-made manipulation techniques. They are called custom-made because what mind game to play with a person who needs to be manipulated and how to plan the mind game will all depend on that person's nature. Therefore, if a manipulator wants to play a mind game with someone, they will first gather maximum information about their target. Then, once they have all the information, they will plan and implement a mind game to manipulate their target. Like other manipulation techniques, mind games work best when the target or victim is dependent on the manipulator or trusts the manipulator. And yes, we all play mind games with someone or the other at some point, and we don't even realize it. This happens because our intention is only to achieve our goals without harming others. But when a narcissist or a psychopath play such a game, they can destroy the other person's life for their slight benefit, so be careful. So, before moving on in the video, follow Book Buzz. Mind games are psychological tactics used to instill fear in someone's mind, to control them, and to manipulate them. All the psychological manipulation techniques I have discussed so far in this series can be used to plan any mind game. So let's take a hypothetical situation and plan a mind game in that situation. The outcome of this mind game is going to be the end of the victim. That is, the person with whom this emotional manipulation mind game will be played will eventually bid farewell to the world. So, listen to the disclaimer. This story is completely fictional. If you can associate this journey of bidding farewell to the world from the depths of this dream with anyone, then it's a good opportunity for self-reflection. For example, you can find out where you stand in this story and with whom, or if someone is playing such a mind game, with whom are you at this moment? Or has the manipulator not managed your perception, as a result of which you, knowingly or unknowingly, participated in the game being played with the victim? Or when you found out that such a game was played here, what was your stance? Were you with the manipulator because he was a successful person and could be useful to you? Or were you with the victim? Or were you neutral, not taking anyone's side? And yes, being neutral can have two meanings. Firstly, you are not with anyone, only with your own interests. And more benefit will be gained when you are close to both the manipulator and the victim. And the second meaning can be that you are with the manipulator. Because if there are two sides in a war and you are neutral in it, then you are with the stronger side. You are not neutral. While listening to the entire mind game, never let this thought leave your mind that the manipulator here is playing with the victim's emotions, has been playing since childhood, and is not even letting the victim realize that they are being played with. When the clouds of emotion cover our minds, things are not seen clearly. You also know this. So first, know about the target's background, that is, the victim. Oh friend, emotional manipulation is often only known when the damage has been done. So, don't forget that the victim here is an emotional person. Because when we connect with our loved ones, we don't use our brain. We connect with emotions, whereas manipulators use their brain even where relationships are based on emotions. In this story, there are two brothers. The elder one's name is Sonny, and the younger one's name is Vicky, but both are not born from the same mother. That is, their mothers are different. Now, Vicky's mother died in his childhood. For this reason, Sonny's mother raised him. So, from childhood, he was with Sonny. Now, Sonny has many personality traits. For example, he is a narcissist, primarily a sympathetic narcissist, and also a humanizer. That is, he is a manipulative person. On the other hand, about Vicky, it can be said that he is somewhat intelligent, somewhat foolish, somewhat simple, somewhat kind, somewhat angry, somewhat rational. So his reactions to emotional matters are often emotional. So listen to Sonny's goal. Here, Sonny's goal is to prevent Vicky from becoming more successful than him at any cost. Because Sonny is a narcissist, and if Vicky becomes more successful, he will start getting more attention than Sonny. Sonny can tolerate it somewhat if others get ahead of him. But the person who has been with him since childhood, who is younger than him, who grew up in his own house, and he will get ahead of him and start getting more attention. Sonny couldn't tolerate this. So understand what Sonny did in his mind game. First of all, he showed Vicky that even if he wasn't his real brother, he loved him more than a real brother. In this way, he gained Vicky's trust. Since Vicky was with Sonny from childhood, Sonny knew all of Vicky's emotional patterns, all his mental patterns, and all his emotional traumas very well. Then came a time when Vicky started living with Sonny in a big city and started preparing for a big exam to secure his future. Here I am taking UPSC as an example of a big exam, okay? But Vicky didn't even realize that he was not preparing for his future but for suicide. So, now let me try to explain each of Sonny's moves and what their results were. So, when Vicky started preparing for UPSC, Sonny was completely sure that Vicky would not be able to pass UPSC. Because Sonny felt that it was such a big exam, and Vicky anyway was not that good in studies from childhood. So first of all, when Vicky reached Delhi to prepare for UPSC, Sonny told him they will conclude that Sonny is fulfilling all of Vicky's needs and bearing all his expenses. Now, understand what the truth was. When Vicky started preparing for UPSC, he bore all his own expenses, spending approximately 2 lakh rupees. But what happened in the end? His bike got a little more damaged. And at that moment, he didn't have money. So what happened? Sunny gave his ATM and said, "Get the bike repaired." Only 3,000 to 4,000 rupees were spent on the bike. But as soon as the bike was repaired, Sunny and Vicky made a plan to return home, and they went home. During this time, Vicky had forgotten to return Sunny's ATM. Now, as soon as they reached home, Sunny met someone who was close to both Vicky and Sunny. He said these words, "Look after Vicky's needs so that he can also progress." So what did Sunny say? I told you a little while ago. Now, I am opening another psychological layer of this story. It's true that Sunny's ATM was with Vicky at that time, but the words Sunny said would lead anyone to conclude that Sunny was bearing all of Vicky's expenses. And since Sunny also wanted people to think this way so that he could gain respect without doing anything, he not only created this misconception, but also maintained it and allowed it to spread among others. This is failing to correct misconceptions. Whereas if there was an intelligent person here, what would he say? He would say, "So far, Vicky hasn't taken any money from me." Perhaps he has money, but if he ever needs money, I will definitely help. And if such a misconception had spread that he was bearing all these expenses, what would he do? He would correct people's misconception and say, "No, that's not true." And secondly, intelligent and sensitive people don't make such a fuss when they help someone. And if they do talk about helping, they will only say as much as they have helped. So do you understand the difference between an extremely bad psychopath, Machiavellian narcissist, and a good person? Besides, lying by omission can also be used to deceive and confuse people. For example, our human brain wants to reach conclusions, because if the human brain cannot reach conclusions, it gets stuck there. The same thought keeps coming repeatedly and starts creating a kind of pressure. So it is the nature of the human brain to draw conclusions from just a few clues. Let me explain this to you with 2 examples. The first is a general example, and the second I will tell you with an example from the mind game story. Suppose you are in a hospital and a person in a white coat is seen coming from the front gallery. Your brain will immediately conclude that that person is a doctor. Now, manipulators can take advantage of this psychology and do this. If they only need to make you understand that they are a doctor, they will wear a white coat in the hospital and roam around once, and they will definitely pass in front of the person in whose mind they want to create such a misconception. But the manipulator will also try to ensure that the person in whose mind the misconception is being created does not directly ask him, "Are you a doctor?" Because if that happens, his mask will be revealed. I hope you understood this. So let me give an example from the mind game story as well. In that story, Sunny created the misconception in people's minds that Sunny was bearing all of Vicky's expenses. So to strengthen this misconception, what would Sunny do? He would tell Vicky, "Let's go buy clothes." And suppose he bought 4 sets of clothes. Now, Sunny and Vicky were of the same height, so Sunny's clothes would fit Vicky too. So Sunny would tell Vicky, "You also wear these clothes." So a shirt that Sunny wore, Vicky would wear the next day. So when people saw all this, their brains would immediately draw this conclusion. Sunny had already created this impression in various ways that he himself was bearing all of Vicky's responsibilities. So people would just think that Sunny works, whereas Vicky is only studying. So this shirt that both of them wear, would it be Sunny's? That is, perhaps Vicky doesn't even have enough money to buy his own clothes. Now, Sunny could have bought separate clothes for Vicky, but then how would his agenda be fulfilled? And secondly, Vicky could have bought clothes for himself. Where he spent almost 2 lakh rupees, what is 5,200 rupees? What happens to good boys? If they have 1 set of clothes, they don't feel any lack of clothes in their life. If they have 2 sets, they think it's good. If they have 3 sets, they think God has given them more than they need. And if they have 4 sets, they start to feel like they are kings. And finally, you know the game Sunny played with Vicky using all these misconceptions. And if you don't know, then definitely watch the mind game video. So, this was lying by commission and lying by omission. The Bengali translation of denial is to reject, not accept, or deny. Manipulators also do this very cunningly. In common parlance, when we say someone is in denial, it often means that the person is unable to accept reality. But when a manipulator uses denial, the meaning of this denial changes. A manipulator uses denial when he knows very well that he has made a mistake, yet he uses denial to show others that he is innocent, he is blameless. Manipulators use denial to manage their image in the eyes of others and what people think about them. Some manipulators are so adept at denial that suppose you know very well, and your intuition also indicates that this person has made a mistake. But the manipulator will deny it in such a way that your brain will automatically go into second guessing, meaning the manipulator will not directly deny it, but will say something that your brain will automatically go towards a second possibility, even though a moment ago you were fully convinced that this person made a mistake. So he will tell you very innocently, "No problem, people always say bad things about me, so let it be bad. I will even apologize to you. You can even hit me, but every coin has two sides." This sentence will lead you to second guessing, and you will start thinking, "It's true, something must have happened from the other side too." It takes two to tango. This is exactly what this manipulator named Mr. X wanted. He knew that he had played a trick, he had manipulated. But now, if you start believing his words that it takes two to tango, or every coin has two sides, then he has now moved out of the list of manipulators and become an ordinary person. And ordinary people make mistakes. And let me tell you one more thing. If it often happens to you that you first know very well, your intuition also keeps screaming at you that someone has done something bad to someone. But as soon as you talk to the manipulator and you start feeling that it takes two to tango, and then you often become neutral in such situations without taking anyone's side, then congratulations. Either you consciously or unconsciously make decisions only by looking at your own benefit, and you have no connection or argument with right and wrong. For this reason, this happens to you, or your spine is very weak. This means that you have no such thing as self-confidence. The proverb, "It takes two to tango," can have other interpretations in many cases. For example, one interpretation could be that the manipulator raised his hand to slap, but the other person raised his hand to block that slap. Then both hands collided and a clap sounded. And then you become neutral in this situation by saying that it takes two to tango. So you are indirectly saying that he should have been allowed to be hit first, then I would have taken his side. He didn't get slapped, so how can I take anyone's side? So, if you are such a person who often remains neutral, then those who consider you their own are very unlucky, because if the time ever comes, you will not stand by them either. My point is, if you are alive, then show that you are alive, learn to stand up. Even if you find out that the person whose side you took also made a mistake, then scold them later. But sometimes you should stand up. Denial is a behavior by which you can recognize whether the person in front is gaslighting you. That is, whenever you say or ask something to the person in front that is uncomfortable for them, and they often deny it, then you are probably being gaslighted. A video on gaslighting has already been uploaded. You can watch it. So, suppose you have started a relationship with someone, and it often happens to you that in any matter both of you know very well what is true or whose fault it is. But as soon as you discuss that topic with your partner, they directly deny it. So don't worry, your partner is going to gaslight you well in the coming years. Whenever a manipulator's mask is revealed or their true nature comes out, they use denial to protect their image. And the meaning of this denial is that they still don't want to accept the truth that has come out to the world. But people with dark traits not only try to deceive you by using denial, but also use denial to deceive themselves. And such people are more dangerous for this reason, because the consciousness in such people is of a very low level. Such people do not understand right and wrong either, and they feel that what they did was right, it was necessary, the world works this way. So, someone harmed you, and when he was caught, he directly denied it. This is a danger signal. But if there is such a person in front of you who, on the one hand, harmed you, and when he was caught, he denied it for this reason because he feels that what he did to you was right, not wrong, then you are dealing with a dangerous psychopath. Whenever a manipulative person denies something, it has a clear meaning that they will not change their behavior and actions. Such a person's denial indicates that they have justified their actions in their own mind and have convinced themselves that what they did was not wrong. Therefore, you can assume that the manipulator will continue to do those things or behave in that way with you in the future that they denied today. Remember one thing. If a person wants to correct their mistake, first of all, they have to accept that mistake. They have to admit it. If a person does not want to accept their mistake, then firstly, they will not correct their mistake, and secondly, they will continue to do so in the future. And if you meet such a person who denies real events, then you are dealing with an inflexible person, and such a person can deny any truth to ensure that everything happens according to their calculations. So, listen to the last line. Denial is a defense mechanism, a manipulation tactic, and also a way to avoid taking responsibility for something. But whatever the purpose of denial, the mind of the person who repeatedly faces denial, that is, their psyche, is very negatively affected. So, when you have to face denial repeatedly, be a little careful. You are probably dealing with a manipulator. If you want to recognize a manipulator, you need to know how the other person is justifying their behavior and actions. There is not much difference between justification and making excuses. And manipulative people are very skilled at justifying what they do. So, suppose a manipulator has done something very bad to someone. Then, when the victim or someone else confronted him, the manipulator will give such a plausible explanation that anyone will believe it. Even the victim can be influenced by the manipulator's explanation. This will happen because from the time the manipulator started planning this game and then harmed the victim, it has always been going on in his mind how he will protect himself when he is caught. So what will he do? He will use the incidents that happened occasionally and what someone said and what someone didn't do in his explanation in such a way that anyone will believe the manipulator's theory. So I would like to say 3 things to the victim here. Firstly, dear victim, trust your inner feelings. Don't fall into the manipulator's trap again by believing his words. And secondly, I would like to say that there is a high probability that you will be alone, because most of those who could have stood by you will seem satisfied with the manipulator's explanation. And some people will remain silent, because when they find out that they too, knowingly or unknowingly, were involved in this game by the manipulator and they too, knowingly or unknowingly, harmed the victim, then such people will not want the matter to escalate further and they themselves to be exposed. And it is possible that such people will start trying to convince you that perhaps the person in front, that is the manipulator, is telling the truth. And I might have overreacted a bit and ruined the whole situation and harmed myself. And thirdly, if the manipulator is cunning, you will not be able to expose him by talking to him in front of everyone because you have only found out today what game the manipulator played with you and you have come to talk to him directly. But the manipulator knew many years ago when he planned that game that this day would come when his mask would be revealed and he would have to protect himself. So he was preparing for today's day from many years ago. So, dear victim, if the manipulator is cunning, don't argue with him, stay away from him, and move on with your life. Now, let's move on in the video. So, when a normal person tries to justify their actions or behavior, you will feel that although they are justifying their actions through this theory, somewhere inside them there is a feeling of guilt, and they feel that they have made a mistake. But when manipulators justify their behavior and actions, they do so only to manage the impression you have of them, whereas deep down they feel that what they did was right. This is the way to control others and be powerful. But in one case, a manipulator can also apologize. That too only when he feels that he has been exposed now and there is no way out. But remember one thing. Along with apologizing, he will also show that he did not do it intentionally, but it happened by mistake. Most people use rationalization as a defense mechanism so that they can show that what they did was not morally very wrong. That is, they try to show that what they did was only a mistake. And such mistakes can happen from anyone. And forgiveness for such mistakes is also possible. But remember one thing. Whenever a person uses rationalization, a mental and cognitive advantage is given to justify their action. Through this, they can show their actions to be morally acceptable by their logic, and the greater this advantage, the more dark traits will be prevalent in them. That is, they will be a more dangerous narcissist, Machiavellian, or psychopath. I will explain this with an example. This is an example of office theft. Suppose a company orders supplies or goods for office needs. And employees named XYZ and ABC bring some items from those supplies to their homes. For example, suppose stationery came for office work. So, both of them took some pens for their personal use and brought them home. Now the employee named XYZ, to justify his action, says, "Oh, the company orders so many things, and if I keep some pens for my personal use, I don't think it will harm the company much." So, this is a small leap, that is, a small advantage. Because in this, the employee named XYZ is only downplaying the impact of his actions. Now, the employee named ABC, to justify his action, says, "The company is making so much profit, but it has never given me the fair reward for my hard work. My salary is much less than it should be. So, in this way, that I bring a few small items from the company to my home, is just a way through which I can get at least some part of what I deserve. So, this is a big leap. Because in this, the employee named ABC, using rationalization, not only justified that small theft, but also linked that theft to personal injustice and compensation. So here, the employee named XYZ will not be able to justify a big theft, and he will not commit a big theft either. But how big a theft can the employee named ABC commit? How big a corruption can he commit? So here, the employee named ABC is much more dangerous than XYZ, and the symptoms of narcissism, Machiavellianism, or psychopathy in him are much more dangerously prevalent than in employee XYZ. And how did I understand this? By looking at his method of rationalization. Now suppose you are meeting a stranger, and you are talking to him about an incident where it is clearly seen that a mistake has been made. Then just see how the person in front is rationalizing the incident. Only then will you understand how dangerous that person is. For example, suppose a person of one religion made some offensive comments about the God of another religion. So a person of the other religion killed the person who made the offensive comments. So now, suppose you were talking to someone about this. So one of them, to justify this incident, said that both should have exercised restraint. The first one should not have used such offensive language. And even if he did use such language, the second one should have controlled his anger. But what can be done now? Not all people are so restrained and intelligent. So perhaps he could not control his anger and killed. But another person, to justify this incident, said that every action has a reaction. That is, every action has a reaction. So this is what happened in this case, and it should happen. Otherwise, people will keep insulting our God. So the second person here is very dangerous. If there had been a riot in this case, and who knows how much innocent blood would have been shed, how many small children would have been killed, then he would have justified those riots too. In short, the first person is trying to justify that killing with uncontrolled anger. That is, he is saying that the killing was wrong, but his friend is seeing that person's anger instead of the killing. On the other hand, the second person is justifying the killing itself. So you be more careful of the second person, because this is much more dangerous than the first one. Minimization is actually an attempt to reduce the importance of a person's emotions and actions. And why is this done? To manipulate. Minimization falls somewhere between denial and rationalization. When a manipulative person cannot completely deny the importance of a statement or event, nor can they fully rationalize it, then they will try to minimize it. And remember, manipulators always do this. And yes, the emotions and actions that manipulators try to downplay can be their own, or the victim's, or a third person's if it serves the manipulator's purpose. For example, suppose you have achieved something in your life. Then what will a manipulative person do? They will try to belittle whatever you have achieved. That is, they will try to reduce its importance. In the mind game video where I told the story of Vicky and Sunny, Sunny always tried to belittle Vicky's efforts. And he had been doing that from childhood. So now I am explaining what effect Sunny's minimization had on Vicky. And if there was a person here who genuinely wanted Vicky to also progress, what would he say? So Sunny had been belittling Vicky's efforts and his emotions from childhood. So suppose Vicky sometimes got good marks, then he would be happy. Then Sunny would say, "Don't be so happy. The real exam is the board exam." Then what would happen? All of Vicky's joy would vanish, and this would directly affect Vicky's self-confidence and his mental strength. Similarly, when Vicky passed the UPSC prelims, Sunny would continuously try to belittle it. And the second benefit was that by saying such things, he would try to break Vicky's self-confidence to ensure that Vicky could not achieve any major success in his life. But this time, Sunny somehow started to feel from within that Vicky had passed the prelims on his first attempt by preparing through the Hindi medium. That too, when he wasn't so good at studies since childhood. That is, perhaps he was working hard and in the right direction. So, he felt that minimization wouldn't work this time. A bigger game plan had to be made, and then he planned that mind game whose story I told in the mind game video. So suppose instead of Sunny, there was a person who truly wished Vicky well, what would he have said? Do you know? He would have said, "Well done." 24 lakh candidates filled the form, and 9 lakh candidates took the exam, out of which 10,000 have been selected, and you are one of these 10,000. That means you are going in the right direction. Now don't stop, but move forward strategically, work hard. I believe you can do it, and if there's any problem, let me know. What effect would these words have had on Vicky? His self-confidence would have increased, his mental strength would have been positively affected, and he would have moved more firmly towards his goal. I would like to say one thing to my audience. Do not criticize your children too much and never compare them with other children, because this will have a very bad effect on your children's minds and mental strength. Instead, you can love bomb your children, because love bombing, although it becomes a manipulation tool in the hands of a manipulator, love bombing is a very powerful positive parenting tool. I will soon upload a video on this parenting method, that is, love bombing. With this tool, you can make your children not just human beings, but wonderful human beings. So now, I come back to my topic. The manipulative person in any relationship definitely tries to belittle their partner's emotions. For example, suppose the husband or boyfriend is manipulative, and he said or did something that caused his wife or girlfriend to react with very strong emotions. So, what will the husband say to belittle his wife's emotions, do you know? He will say, "You are too sensitive. Be a little mature." As soon as she hears this, the wife will automatically back off. And a manipulative wife can also do such a thing. She does something rude, and when the husband reacts to that rudeness, she might tell her husband, "Behave like a man. Why are you behaving like a weak person?" Now, as soon as the husband hears this, he will automatically back off. And remember, minimization always works because minimization makes us self-conscious. For example, suppose someone tells you, "Brother, it's not as big a deal as you're getting angry about." Then you will automatically become self-conscious and think, "Am I overreacting?" So, abusers also use minimization to try to show that their actions or behavior were not as harmful as the victim claims. For example, suppose a physical abuser laid hands on their partner. Then he will tell his partner, "I didn't hit that hard." And what will an emotional abuser do? First, he will try to mentally break you down. And then when you confront him, he will say, "Why are you reacting like a child? Behave like a mature person." One aspect of minimization is cognitive distortion. In this, the manipulator tries to show that a specific action or emotion is not as important as it is being made out to be. For example, suppose someone made a sarcastic remark to you and you confronted them. They will say, "Oh brother, I was just joking. You should have at least this much sense of humor." But you remember, there's a difference between sarcasm and showing a sense of humor. A sense of humor can never be insulting, but sarcasm disguised as a sense of humor is insulting. And this cognitive distortion also happens at the institutional level. Suppose there is a big systemic problem in the working method of an organization or government, but when the government is asked, the answer will be, "There are some bad people everywhere, and because of them, all these problems arise." The advantage of this is that now the government will not need to improve its working methods, because bad people are everywhere and always present. So, a final message for you. If you have to face minimization anywhere, try to stop it now. Otherwise, it will keep increasing. Manipulative people also use this tactic a lot. Diversion and evasion, manipulating focus. So, let me teach you now how this diversion and evasion works. Then you will know that this is happening with you too. And you will also know that you yourself have used it. But the same thing, when a normal person, that is, a good person, uses diversion and evasion, then he will first use it only to a certain limit. And when he uses that tactic, the mental or emotional harm to others will not be very great. But when a manipulator uses it, it can harm you much more. So I'm starting the video. So if you haven't followed BookBuzz yet, then follow it. A manipulator uses evasion and diversion to hide their manipulative behavior. In short, the manipulator tries to hide their true identity using this tactic. Because if their true identity comes out, no one will fall into their trap anymore. In addition to this, when a manipulator harms someone, and when they feel that people might now know what they have done, they can use this tactic to escape taking responsibility for that harm. When a situation demands a clear and direct response and someone starts speaking ambiguously, what is this? Evasion. Manipulators are very skilled at this. That is, you will ask them for a direct response, and they will speak ambiguously, irrelevantly, and also satisfy you with their words. Now, I am explaining the difference between evasion and diversion. In evasion, what happens is that the manipulator will try to avoid giving a direct answer to a question, but in diversion, what happens is that the manipulator will change the topic of discussion itself and will bring up a new topic in between, and the topic will be such that you will get angry very quickly, and then an intense debate will start on the new topic, and the old topic, about which you were seeking a response from the other person, will be left behind. For example, suppose you are asking your partner why they came so late from the office. Then an evasive partner will start speaking ambiguously. It is possible that they will start talking about the office, what happened at the office today, and it is possible that you will also become interested in those words. And if you get caught up in your partner's words and forget what your question was, then you have been manipulated. Now I am explaining diversion. For example, suppose a wife knows that her husband is an extremely rude womanizer. So what does the husband do? He hires a female employee in his office who badly needed a job. Now, since the wife knows her husband well, what kind of person he is, and she also knows why the husband hired this woman. Now the wife knows very well that on one hand, her husband will show false affection to that girl, will also show some friendship, and will also give false promises. And on the other hand, in her subconscious mind, he will indirectly send the message that if she does not obey her boss, she might lose her job. He will manipulate the woman into having a sexual relationship by using these two tactics very cunningly. Now the wife does not want all this to happen. So what did she do? She directly told her husband that you cannot give her this job. Then what will that manager husband say, do you know? He will say that the household expenses and the wonderful lifestyle you are living are because of my hard work and this business, and you are interfering in my business. Then, after some time, a debate might start on whether the wife is interfering in the business or not, and the wife will keep clarifying that she is not interfering in the business. In this way, the main issue will be left behind. This is diversion. Politicians use diversion and evasion a lot. For example, suppose there is a fictional country named Swinland. Its name Swinland has been kept because its shape is like a swing. And this country has a modern democratic system of governance, which has a constitution and an independent judiciary. Now, the main problem of this country is that unemployment is increasing very rapidly. Some crony, that is, corrupt industrialists who have an understanding with the government, that is, the government sells them the country's assets at throwaway prices. As a result, a few businessmen are becoming rich. That is, the poor are becoming poorer, and a few top rich are becoming richer. Besides this, what else are these businessmen doing? Since they have monopolies in many sectors, they raise the prices of things whenever they want, and take out as much money as they want from the pockets of the people of the country, and deliver it to their own pockets and the government's pockets as donations. Besides this, there are many other problems in this country. For example, farmers are committing suicide. Democratic institutions such as the judiciary or the election commission are also being pressured. So, when government officials are asked to respond to these problems, they will always bring up some new topic to avoid these questions. What topics can they bring up? Number 1, they can bring up nationalism. Hitler also did this. Number 2, they will arouse feelings of revenge towards neighbors. Number 3, they will bring up the issue of national security. If you want to understand these 3 things well, then you must watch the Chapter 4 video of this series. I am sure that after watching this video, you will be able to recognize every politician. If a country is a democratic country, and the government in that country will be of whoever gets more votes. So, what will the politicians with a Machiavellian or dictatorial mindset in that country do you know? They will show the people of that religion, whose population is more in that country, that they are with them. To show this, they will not improve their financial condition, because the objective of such politicians is not to improve the financial and social condition of the majority society. Rather, to remain in power, they only need votes. For this, what will they do? They will build religious structures. For example, they will build churches, mosques, or temples. Besides this, what else will they do? They will spread hatred towards the minority society. Hitler also did this, and gradually they will push the young generation of that country into the fire of hatred. All the things I have mentioned fall into the category of diversion and evasion. And to do this diversion, such leaders will first control the media. And if necessary, they will try to control social media too by intimidating it. Number 4, such leaders know that the people of Swinland are not at all happy with what they are doing. So what will they do you know? They will show dreams of the future and say that after 20 years, the income of every person in the country will increase by 10 times. And what will they do after 20 years? They will give a new dream that will be much more beautiful than the previous dream. Hitler also showed such dreams. All this is diversion and evasion. The more cunning the leader, the more they will use all these things so that no discussion takes place on the main issues. Now, let's move towards the last part of the video. Evasion and diversion work better on people who are not determined. That is, such people whose self-confidence is weak and who can be easily confused. So what will you do? Suppose you ask someone something and the other person is trying to change the topic. So, when the other person changes the topic, look at them with a firm and calm facial expression. Don't say anything. And as soon as the other person stops talking, tell them, Perhaps you didn't hear my question properly, and ask your question again. And keep doing this until you get an answer. After some time, it will happen that the other person, covert intimidation and guilt tripping. Powerful manipulation tactics, covert intimidation, and guilt tripping are both very powerful manipulation methods because they use a person's emotions to manipulate them. Here there are two things: covert intimidation and guilt tripping. Covert intimidation works on fear, while guilt tripping works on compassion, kindness, and empathy. Psychologists call people who use these two tactics frequently covert aggressive personalities. In short, these people are wolves in sheep's clothing. Such people have two faces. One face, which is clean and full of good qualities, is presented to the world, and the other face, which is very dangerous and filled with brutality, they keep hidden. And this second face is the true face of these people. But this face might very rarely come before the world. In covert intimidation, fear is very cunningly and cleverly instilled in the victim's mind. And yes, this method can be used well by someone who knows a lot about their target, their desires, and their fears. For example, if your boss knows that you are trying to get a promotion, the boss can use this information to their advantage. What will they do? They will ask for personal favors from you and indirectly make you feel that your promotion is in their hands. So keep them happy. Do what I say. Otherwise, the promotion might get stalled. And remember, your boss will not say these words. Nevertheless, they will make you feel it in some way. What is this? Covert intimidation. Here, your desire for promotion has been used by the boss for their own benefit. Let me give another example. For instance, suppose you are very emotional, that is, emotionally needy, and the fear of being alone always sits in your mind. So if your partner is emotionally selfish, they can use this fear to their advantage. For example, suppose your girlfriend is an emotionally selfish person. For this reason, you are thinking of breaking up with her. So she will repeatedly make you feel that you will not find anyone else. So if you break up, you will have to stay alone now. Then, as soon as the fear of being alone becomes strong in your mind, you will put the idea of breaking up out of your head. So here your girlfriend is using your inner fear of being alone for her own benefit. Now let me explain about guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is also a manipulation technique. In this, the manipulator will make you feel bad to take advantage of you. They will instill a feeling of guilt or remorse in you. This can happen in many ways. Firstly, to make people doubt themselves. For example, suppose a manipulator wants you to do some work, but you don't want to do it. So the manipulator will put a question mark on your competence related to that work. Then you will feel bad, feel guilty. After this, to prove the manipulator wrong, you will do anything to finish that work. Secondly, to make people anxious. For example, suppose your friend wants to throw a party, and they want you to definitely come to their party, but you don't want to go. So the friend knows that you get stressed when you go to social gatherings. So the friend will knowingly tell you that if you don't come to this party, I will think you are doing this to avoid the party. In this case, you will be stressed and anxiety will start that what will your friend think of you if you don't go to the party? So, to get rid of this anxiety, you will agree to go to the party. So here, your friend is using your inner fear of social gatherings against you. In this, the manipulator will first, by any means, increase guilt and shame within you using any old incident. As a result, you will come under much more internal pressure. What will happen after this? Your self-confidence level will go very low. After this, the manipulator will make any demand from you, and then you will not be able to refuse because they had already weakened your self-confidence. Thirdly, to make people reveal the manipulator. Suppose your cousin is a narcissist and they want to gain control of your life. So they will help you and then secretly and in hidden ways will always make you feel that you should be grateful to them and also show respect to them publicly. So remember one thing, you must be grateful to the person who helped you. But also remember that many people will help you for this reason so that they can gain control of your life. And when the time comes, use that control to harm you or take advantage of you in wrong ways. So, be careful of help from such people. To understand this well, you must watch the mind game video. So keep one thing in mind. It's good to be grateful for someone's help. But to be suppressed under gratitude is a very bad thing. In guilt tripping, the manipulator will first make a person feel that they are a selfish person. And then that person, to prove that they are not selfish, will take 2 steps forward and do the work that the manipulator wanted them to do. So, if you are also of this mindset that you are constantly trying to prove something to others, then change yourself. Because manipulative people can take advantage of you very easily. Now, let me explain things with 2 examples. The first example, Suppose you are dating someone with the mindset that you have to spend your life with them. But the person you are dating is a manipulative person, and they are doing all this drama only to have a sexual relationship. So, since they are looking at you with the eyes of a predator who will hunt and move on, they don't want to waste much time. So, they will ask for sexual favors from you at the beginning of the relationship. But you will refuse by saying, "No, not so fast." Then that manipulative person will tell you that perhaps you don't trust me and will indirectly remind you of some favors. Then, to make them believe that you trust them, you will do everything they wanted. Why did this happen? Because guilt was created within you from the word trust that they spoke. And then to end that guilt, you did the work you didn't want to do. Second example. Suppose after much effort and many attempts you have a girlfriend, and she is also manipulative. So she will ask you for expensive gifts. And when you logically tell her that you cannot buy such expensive gifts, she will very lovingly say that you don't care for me and don't love me. And no logical argument will work with these words because it is completely based on emotion. And she is indirectly telling you that you are giving more importance to money than to my happiness. Then a feeling of guilt will awaken in you. And along with it, a feeling of fear will also come because you know how difficult it was to get a girlfriend. Then, under the influence of these two, that is, guilt and fear, you will bring her all the gifts she wants. So, listen to one more thing here. Guilt tripping works well for this reason because it is not logic-based but emotion-based. Whenever you care for someone, you feel some responsibility towards them. And from here, that person gets the power to make you feel guilty. So, remember, if a person is a manipulator and wants to take advantage of you by making you feel guilty, they will first form an emotional relationship with you. That is, they will form a relationship of attraction and love. And then they will manipulate you by making you feel guilty. That is, guilt-tripping you. So, whenever you form a new relationship with someone, see if they frequently guilt-trip their loved ones. If they do, then after some time, the same is going to happen to you. Shaming. A manipulative tactic. Shaming means to embarrass or make someone feel ashamed. This is also a type of manipulation method, and manipulators use it a lot. For example, we are very conscious about our behavior. In our minds, we already have an idea of what behavior is good and what behavior is bad. Now, you mistakenly said something without thinking that you feel you shouldn't have said. People will take it as a mistake. So the feeling you will have at this moment will be one of shame. That is, you will feel ashamed. Now let me tell you one more thing about shame. Shame is a social construct. That is, this concept is created by society. And it is extremely personal, meaning it is possible that in situations where you feel ashamed, someone else might not feel any shame in the same situation. For example, suppose you are in a public place and wearing a skirt. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind comes and your skirt goes up, so you will feel ashamed. But in Western societies, there are many groups where people do not wear clothes, they remain naked. Besides this, there are many tribes in this world where both men and women remain naked or semi-naked. For example, the Asmat tribe in Indonesia, the Kabari tribe in Nigeria, the Yanomami tribe living on the Brazil-Venezuela border, and another tribe in Nigeria called the Komakuma tribe. Besides this, there are many such tribes where people wear clothes on normal days. But if there is a festival, they celebrate that festival with no clothes or semi-clothes and dance. Do these people feel ashamed about this matter that they are naked or semi-naked? The answer is no. So here, the point is that most shameful behaviors are shameful for this reason because we consider them shameful. And why do we consider them shameful? Because the society in which we grew up considers them shameful. So, manipulators will convince you to say something that you should be ashamed of that thing. Or suppose you have some secret that you don't want, at least those people who are very close to you, to know. So the manipulator might tell your secrets to those people or directly or indirectly threaten you that if you don't obey me, I will reveal your secrets. Traditionally, what used to happen? Suppose society or some contractors of society made some rules related to society. Now society wants you to follow those rules. So this society uses shaming to make you follow its rules, that when you do not follow those rules, society will make you feel ashamed to punish you. Additionally, shaming is used to ensure that children behave properly, but malicious people insult you in various ways for their own benefit. They can abuse you, or suppose you give an idea, show some emotion to them, then in response to all this, they can show expressions of annoyance, make sarcastic remarks, roll their eyes, or tell your secrets to others. These are some methods of shaming because whenever the manipulator does all this, you will feel ashamed about yourself and your behavior. Malicious people also shame for this reason, so that they can belittle you and show themselves above you. Additionally, manipulators use shaming to hide their own flaws and weaknesses so that they can divert the attention of those around them and hide their incompetence and true character. Additionally, sadists will shame for this reason. When you feel uncomfortable, feel bad about yourself, then they will feel good. On the other hand, a narcissist will shame you for this reason so that they can show others that they are better than you. And a Machiavellian will shame you for their own benefit with the aim of changing your behavior. Shaming is largely similar to guilt tripping, but there is a difference. Shaming is only possible in the public arena, and shaming works most effectively where those people are involved whose opinions are important to you. And malicious people know that there are some things you don't want others to know. It is precisely here that they can use shaming to change your behavior. Now let me explain things with some examples. First example, suppose you are a college student. That is, you are over 18 and you smoke cigarettes. And at least factually, it doesn't seem wrong. But you also want your parents not to know this, at least until you are in college. It's okay if they know after college is over. So here, a manipulator can threaten shaming to manipulate your behavior. They can say that if you don't obey me, I will convey this information that you smoke cigarettes to your parents. The second example is slut shaming. This is mainly faced by girls. The closest Bengali translation of the word slut is the word that our society uses for girls who work in red light areas. What word? You guess it yourself. The word slut also has no gender opposite. That is, this shaming is only faced by girls. In this, the malicious person uses a girl's sexual relationships, past or present, to change her behavior or to defame her character. That is what happens in this. An attempt is made to insult or shame a girl based on her sexual relationships. I will discuss this topic or this misogynistic approach in detail in the video series Unfinished Sexual Revolution that I am about to start. Third example. This is a very extreme example of shaming. This is shaming using revenge porn. For example, suppose you have become involved in a relationship with a malicious person and you have had a sexual relationship with them. And when these kinds of sexual relationships were happening, with your consent or unknowingly, and without your consent, he took some pictures of you or made some videos. So when you think of moving away from that person, he can directly or secretly threaten you that if you think of moving away from me, I will send this video to your family members or bring it in front of the whole world. So whether you are a woman or a man, one piece of advice for you is never to click these pictures and videos when you have a sexual relationship with someone, because there is no greater foolishness than this, because you should know that even after being deleted from the mobile, nothing is deleted. Any picture can be easily recovered. So, for example, if you have some such pictures and videos on your phone, and your phone gets lost, then if the person who found that phone has even a little knowledge about digital technology, they can recover all those pictures and videos that were once on your phone, even if you have deleted them. And our society is not yet mature enough that even if a girl's nude picture comes into the public domain, it does not affect that girl's honor. So, when society becomes mature, you can click these kinds of pictures, no problem, but don't do so now. Only very cunning manipulators can successfully use this. Actually, narcissists, sadists, and psychopaths also use it, but Machiavellians are skilled at using it. So, if you want to know about the 4 types of personalities like narcissists, sadists, psychopaths, and Machiavellians, then you must watch Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 4, videos of this series. Vilifying the victim, a deceptive tactic. So today, the manipulation tactic I am going to discuss with you is called vilifying the victim. So before I proceed in this video, a request to you. If you are new to our BookBuzz channel, then follow BookBuzz now. I am starting the video. I will explain this with an example. For example, Sunny is a manipulator, and he is playing games with Vicky. That is, here Vicky is the victim, the one who is suffering. So Sunny will convince the people around him that Vicky is wrong. He himself is the abuser, and Vicky made the mistake. That is, when a manipulator declares the victim to be the villain, it is called vilifying the victim. And this technique can be best used by 2 types of manipulators. Firstly, covert narcissists, and secondly, Machiavellians. Because these 2 types of manipulators are very cunning. They pretend to be very intelligent, helpful, and caring people in the eyes of the world. But they can completely destroy those with whom they play games, that is, those who are their targets. Because their true character may very rarely come out unless they are unlucky. Bad luck can happen in such a way that Suppose a covert narcissist was continuously playing games with someone under the guise of fake love, affection, care, etc., and had almost destroyed their life, trying to bring them completely under their control. But the other person was not coming under complete control. Then what happened was that the victim, that is, the one with whom the game was played, caught on to this covert narcissist's trick and understood that the person they considered their own was actually a monster. And after this, if the victim's brain works fast, then they can bring the true identity of that manipulator in front of the whole world. They can expose this covert narcissist. But this can only happen when the victim, although an emotional person, has a fast-working brain. So, suppose playing with emotions, the narcissist has almost destroyed the victim's life very cunningly. But now the victim has understood what has happened to them. So now two brains will confront each other. The narcissist's brain versus the brain of the one with whom the game was played. So, let me explain one more thing here. Those who are Machiavellians, when they play games with someone, they do so only for their own benefit, and keep in mind that the victim should not lose everything because of the game they are playing with them. In this case, narcissists are a bit more foolish. They might be able to explain how dangerous a game they can play with the victim just for their own ego. To make the victim bow before them, to show themselves better than the victim in front of the world, and to show themselves more successful than them. That is, they can play so much that if the victim does not bow before them, then by playing mind games, they will break them mentally and in other ways, so much that the victim will start thinking of dying. That is, a narcissist can take away everything from the other person, do anything. How low can they go to make them bow before them? So if a manipulator plays such a game with someone that as a result of that game, the victim loses everything and was almost dying. But then if they decide that no, before dying, an account will be settled for the game played, then that manipulator might have to face the biggest challenge of their life. Because a bigger challenge than this might never come, because no one can be more dangerous than someone who has nothing left to lose. As happened with Vicky in the mind game story, he had nothing left to lose, and he was thinking of dying. If, for example, Vicky had thought before ending his life that Sonny's actions would be accounted for, then I am telling you the truth, no one could have stopped this accounting. So don't play so much with anyone that they lose everything. Let's move on to the topic now. A manipulator can slander a victim in two ways. Firstly, the manipulator will instill the idea in the minds of those around them, through perception management or some other means, that the victim is the real abuser and the victim made the mistake. That is, when a manipulator declares the victim to be the villain, it is called vilifying the victim. And this technique can be best used by two types of manipulators. Firstly, covert narcissists, and secondly, Machiavellians. Because these two types of manipulators are very cunning. They pretend to be very intelligent, helpful, and caring people in the eyes of the world. But they can completely destroy those with whom they play games. That is, those who are their targets. Because their true character may very rarely come out unless they are unlucky. Bad luck can happen in such a way that suppose a covert narcissist was continuously playing games with someone under the guise of fake love, affection, care, etc., and it almost destroyed their life, trying to bring them completely under their control, but the other person was not coming under complete control. Then what happened was that the victim, that is, the one with whom the game was played, caught on to this covert narcissist's trick and understood that the person they considered their own was actually a monster. And after this, if the victim's brain works fast, then they can bring the true identity of that manipulator in front of the whole world. They can expose this covert narcissist. But this can only happen when the victim, although an emotional person, has a fast-working brain. So, suppose playing with emotions, the narcissist has almost destroyed the victim's life very cunningly. But now the victim has understood what has happened to them. So now two brains will confront each other. The narcissist's brain versus the brain of the one with whom the game was played. So, let me explain one more thing here. Those who are Machiavellians, when they play games with someone, they do so only for their own benefit and keep in mind that the victim should not lose everything because of the game they are playing with them. Narcissists are often foolish. So driven by ego, they will risk anything to make a victim bow to them and appear superior in the eyes of the world. They will engage in a dangerous game, one so severe that if the victim doesn't yield, the narcissist will play mind games to mentally and emotionally break them to the point of contemplating death. A narcissist may take everything from a person, doing anything to force them to submit. If a manipulator plays such a game, and the victim loses everything and is on the verge of death, but then decides to get revenge before they die. The manipulator will face the biggest challenge of their life. This is because no one is more dangerous than a person with nothing left to lose. This is what happened to Vicky in the story Mind Game. He had nothing left to lose and was contemplating suicide. But had he decided to get back at Sunny before ending his life? Nothing could have stopped him. 2 ways a manipulator can blame a victim. Manipulator can blame a victim in 2 ways. Perception management. The manipulator uses perception management or other means to convince others that the victim is the abuser and is in the wrong. The manipulator is cunning and maintains a good public image while playing games behind the scenes. For example, a manipulator might constantly torture a victim with mind games until the victim, overwhelmed, reacts angrily and loses control in public. Others will then see the victim's outburst and blame them, while the manipulator remains calm and uses the situation to show the world how unpleasant the victim is, making the victim look like the villain. Internalized blame. The manipulator makes the victim feel like they are the abuser, that they are the one who has done wrong and ruined the manipulator's life. This is most effective with victims who are emotionally weak, lack self-respect, or are completely dependent on the manipulator. For example, a wife might yell and cry at her husband when things don't go her way, and then blame her husband for her own deteriorating health. If the husband lacks self-respect, he might believe that if he had only acted differently, his wife wouldn't have gotten angry or sick. Manipulators use classic tactics like rationalization, denial, gaslighting, and guilt-tripping to achieve this. If you want to identify a manipulator, look for someone who always blames others. They'll likely do the same to you in the future for every small or large issue. A manipulator feels they have wronged their victim, and so they vilify the victim to the world to maintain their own image. This has 2 benefits. It keeps their reputation intact, and it keeps the victim on the defensive, allowing the manipulator to continue their influence. Playing the victim and the servant narcissists feel they are superior to others. When they vilify and harm a victim to make them submit, they don't feel guilty. In their minds, they are not doing anything wrong. They believe that those who are superior have the right to do what they want. A narcissist won't feel guilty even if their actions drive someone to suicide. They believe this is simply the natural order of the world. When a manipulator plays the victim, it's not because they truly feel like one. It's a calculated move to gain sympathy from their real victim or from others, and to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. This manipulation can happen in 2 ways. The manipulator tries to make the victim feel guilty or distressed, causing the victim to offer help or sympathy. The manipulator presents themselves as a victim to the world while simultaneously painting the real victim as a villain. They might tell others how much the victim has wronged them or how ungrateful they were, causing the real victim to become isolated. The second type of manipulator is more dangerous because they involve others and can destroy the victim's reputation. If you don't confront them, your reputation may be irrevocably damaged. If someone you are dating or in a relationship with plays the victim, you should end the relationship as soon as possible, or you may find everyone has turned against you. Examples of playing the victim evading responsibility. A manipulator might try to avoid accountability for their actions by making themselves the victim. For instance, a perpetually late employee might respond to a boss's criticism by talking about their personal struggles and stress, shifting the focus from their tardiness to their problems and avoiding the consequences. Guilt tripping. A manipulator might make you feel guilty for setting healthy boundaries. For example, when a girlfriend asks for a break from a relationship to focus on herself, her boyfriend might try to guilt trip her, saying she is abandoning him when he needs her most. This is a form of guilt tripping, as the girlfriend's request for space is a healthy boundary. Diverting attention. A manipulator might divert attention from their bad behavior by talking about their own problems. A wife who yells at her husband in public might later, when confronted, talk about her past traumas to make him feel sorry for her. In this case, she is the abuser, but she is playing the victim. Unfair targeting. When a manipulator is criticized, they might try to manipulate the situation to make it seem like they are being unfairly targeted. For example, a team member who isn't doing their work might tell a colleague that the team is being too harsh on him, making the colleague and the rest of the team feel guilty. Playing the servant role in this manipulation technique. Manipulators present themselves as people who are working for the good of others, pursuing a noble cause, or simply serving others. In reality, they are pursuing their own agenda. Machiavellians and psychopaths are masters of this technique, while narcissists are less adept. This is a common tactic used by politicians, religious leaders, and social workers. Examples of playing the servant role: politicians. A Machiavellian politician might appear loyal and dedicated to a leader for years, only to seize power when given the opportunity. Religious leaders. A fraudulent religious leader might preach about spiritual devotion and renouncing worldly pleasures, while secretly living a lavish life. They will use religion as a shield when their true nature is revealed. Social workers. There are many NGOs in India that do good work, but many are formed under the guise of social service while serving the interests of their owners. Seduction as a manipulation. Tactic seduction is an integral part of romance and courtship. However, when used maliciously, it becomes a manipulation technique. When we are complimented and flattered, we often feel good and start to believe the words. Manipulators use this to gain our trust. Seduction and flattery are cunning ways to make a good first impression and build an emotional connection. This strategy is effective because it makes it easy for the manipulator to get close to a person and hide their true intentions. When someone gives you attention and makes you feel special, you lower your guard and allow them into your life. This is because we all have a bit of narcissism in us. When we are praised, we feel good and stop thinking logically. We believe the praise is genuine. Some people might think they can't be manipulated because they are aware of the manipulator's intentions. But by getting involved with them, even for fun, they risk becoming emotionally entangled and falling into their trap. The key to avoiding this is to understand your own weaknesses and emotions, so that your happiness isn't dependent on someone else's praise. Manipulators never end the seduction process until the victim is fully trapped. They may create a false persona to make themselves seem amazing and use every tactic to manipulate their victim. Once the victim is trapped and has served their purpose, the manipulator may either reveal their true self or continue the facade. Playing the blame game. Playing the blame game is a defining trait of manipulators. It allows them to avoid responsibility for their actions and put the victim on the defensive. While projection is a normal psychological behavior that everyone does subconsciously, manipulators do it with malicious intent. A normal person who projects might feel guilty later and apologize. But a manipulator, like a narcissist, psychopath, or Machiavellian, won't feel any guilt. They will continue to blame others as a way to achieve their goals. A master manipulator will blame someone in a subtle way without directly accusing them. They will plant seeds of doubt in people's minds, causing them to believe the victim is in the wrong. Other manipulators might avoid apologizing for their mistakes by talking about their difficult life circumstances, using a mix of truth and exaggeration to gain sympathy. The use of anger as a manipulation tactic. Manipulators also use anger to manipulate others. They might raise their voice, shout, or make aggressive gestures to intimidate you. Manipulators use anger strategically to control your reactions. Their anger makes you feel scared, causing you to drop the topic that made them angry. Examples of using anger for manipulation: assertion of dominance. A boss might yell or bang on a table in a meeting to assert their authority and silence any dissent. The employees will then be too scared to question the boss's decisions, even if they are wrong. Avoiding disagreement. A spouse who doesn't want to discuss a particular topic might get angry as soon as it is brought up, causing the other spouse to back down to avoid conflict. Destroying logic. Anger creates mental turmoil, which makes it difficult for you to think logically. You might make a decision to appease the manipulator, which will ultimately benefit them. Diverting attention. A manipulator can use anger to divert attention from the real issue. They might seize on a single word you said and become uncontrollably angry, shifting the focus from the original topic to your use of that word. Guilt tripping. Parents might use anger to make their child feel guilty for making an independent decision. The child will then feel they have dishonored their parents and will always seek their permission in the future. Creating a culture of fear. A boss who constantly gets angry when deadlines are missed will create a high-stress environment where employees will always be anxious, even if a missed deadline is unavoidable. This will also stifle creativity and open communication, The other person might use another tactic to avoid answering, or they might just give you the answer. Whatever the case, if someone uses these two tactics, it's a clear sign of deception. That is, the other person might be trying to hide something or trying to avoid giving a direct answer. Covert intimidation and guilt tripping. Powerful manipulation tactics. Covert intimidation and guilt tripping are both very powerful manipulation methods because they use a person's emotions to manipulate them. Here there are two things: covert intimidation and guilt tripping. Covert intimidation works on fear, while guilt tripping works on compassion, kindness, and empathy. Psychologists call people who use these two tactics frequently covert aggressive personalities. In short, these people are wolves in sheep's clothing. Such people have two faces. One face, which is clean and full of good qualities, is presented to the world. And the other face, which is very dangerous and filled with brutality, they keep hidden. And this second face is the true face of these people. But this face might very rarely come before the world. In covert intimidation, fear is very cunningly and cleverly instilled in the victim's mind. And yes, this method can be used well by someone who knows a lot about their target, their desires, and their fears. For example, if your boss knows that you are trying to get a promotion, the boss can use this information to their advantage. What will they do? They will ask for personal favors from you and indirectly make you feel that your promotion is in their hands. So keep them happy. Do what I say, otherwise the promotion might get stalled. And remember, your boss will not say these words. Nevertheless, they will make you feel it in some way. What is this? Covert intimidation. Here, your desire for promotion has been used by the boss for their own benefit. Let me give another example. For instance, suppose you are very emotional, that is, emotionally needy, and the fear of being alone always sits in your mind. So if your partner is emotionally selfish, they can use this fear to their advantage. For example, suppose your girlfriend is an emotionally selfish person. For this reason, you are thinking of breaking up with her. So she will repeatedly make you feel that you will not find anyone else. So if you break up, you will have to stay alone now. Then, as soon as the fear of being alone becomes strong in your mind, you will put the idea of breaking up out of your head. So here, your girlfriend is using your inner fear of being alone for her own benefit. Now, let me explain about guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is also a manipulation technique. In this, the manipulator will make you feel bad to take advantage of you. They will instill a feeling of guilt or remorse in you. This can happen in many ways. Firstly, to make people doubt themselves. For example, suppose a manipulator wants you to do some work, but you don't want to do it. So the manipulator will put a question mark on your competence related to that work. Then you will feel bad, feel guilty. After this, to prove the manipulator wrong, you will do anything to finish that work. Secondly, to make people anxious. For example, suppose your friend wants to throw a party, and they want you to definitely come to their party, but you don't want to go. So the friend knows that you get stressed when you go to social gatherings. So the friend will knowingly tell you that if you don't come to this party, I will think you are doing this to avoid the party. In this case, you will be stressed, and anxiety will start. What will your friend think of you if you don't go to the party? So, to get rid of this anxiety, you will agree to go to the party. So here, your friend is using your inner fear of social gatherings against you. In this, the manipulator will first, by any means, increase guilt and shame within you using any old incident. As a result, you will come under much more internal pressure. What will happen after this? Your self-confidence level will go very low. After this, the manipulator will make any demand of you, and then you will not be able to refuse because they had already weakened your self-confidence. Thirdly, to make people reveal the manipulator. Suppose your cousin is a narcissist and they want to gain control of your life, so they will help you, and then, secretly and in hidden ways, will always make you feel that you should be grateful to them, and also show respect to them publicly. So remember one thing, you must be grateful to the person who helped you. But also remember that many people will help you for this reason so that they can gain control of your life. And when the time comes, use that control to harm you or take advantage of you in wrong ways. So be careful of help from such people. To understand this well, you must watch the mind game video. So keep one thing in mind. It's good to be grateful for someone's help. But to be suppressed under gratitude is a very bad thing. In guilt tripping, the manipulator will first make a person feel that they are a selfish person. And then that person, to prove that they are not selfish, will take 2 steps forward and do the work that the manipulator wanted them to do. So, if you are also of this mindset that you are constantly trying to prove something to others, then change yourself. Because manipulative people can take advantage of you very easily. Now let me explain things with 2 examples. The first example. Suppose you are dating someone with the mindset that you have to spend your life with them. But the person you are dating is a manipulative person, and they are doing all this drama only to have a sexual relationship. So, since they are looking at you with the eyes of a predator who will hunt and move on, they don't want to waste much time. So they will ask for sexual favors from you at the beginning of the relationship. But you will refuse by saying, "No, not so fast." Then that manipulative person will tell you that perhaps you don't trust me and will indirectly remind you of some favors. Then, to make them believe that you trust them, you will do everything they wanted. Why did this happen? Because guilt was created within you from the word trust that they spoke. And then to end that guilt, you did the work you didn't want to do. Second example. Suppose after much effort and many attempts, you have a girlfriend and she is also manipulative. So she will ask you for expensive gifts, and when you logically tell her that you cannot buy such expensive gifts, she will very lovingly say that you don't care for me and don't love me. And no logical argument will work with these words because it is completely based on emotion, and she is indirectly telling you that you are giving more importance to money than to my happiness. Then a feeling of guilt will awaken in you, and along with it, a feeling of fear will also come because you know how difficult it was to get a girlfriend. Then, under the influence of these 2, that is, guilt and fear, you will bring her all the gifts she wants. So, listen to one more thing here. Guilt tripping works well for this reason, because it is not logic-based, but emotion-based. Whenever you care for someone, you feel some responsibility towards them, and from here that person gets the power to make you feel guilty. So, remember, if a person is a manipulator and wants to take advantage of you by making you feel guilty, they will first form an emotional relationship with you. That is, they will form a relationship of attraction and love. And then they will manipulate you by making you feel guilty, that is, guilt-tripping you. So, whenever you form a new relationship with someone, see if they frequently guilt-trip their loved ones. If they do, then after some time the same is going to happen to you. Shaming. A manipulative tactic. Shaming means to embarrass or make someone feel ashamed. This is also a type of manipulation method, and manipulators use it a lot. For example, we are very conscious about our behavior. In our minds, we already have an idea of what behavior is good and what behavior is bad. Now you mistakenly said something without thinking that you feel you shouldn't have said. People will take it as a mistake. So the feeling you will have at this moment will be one of shame. That is, you will feel ashamed. Now let me tell you one more thing about shame. Shame is a social construct. That is, this concept is created by society. And it is extremely personal, meaning it is possible that in situations where you feel ashamed, someone else might not feel any shame in the same situation. For example, suppose you're in a public place and wearing a skirt. Suddenly a strong gust of wind comes and your skirt goes up, so you will feel ashamed. But in Western societies, there are many groups where people do not wear clothes. They remain naked. Besides this, there are many tribes in this world where both men and women remain naked or semi-naked. For example, the Asmat tribe in Indonesia, the Kabari tribe in Nigeria, the Yanomami tribe living on the Brazil-Venezuela border, and another tribe in Nigeria called the Komakuma tribe. Besides this, there are many such tribes where people wear clothes on normal days. But if there is a festival, they celebrate that festival with no clothes or semi-clothes and dance. Do these people feel ashamed about this matter that they are naked or semi-naked? The answer is no. So here, the point is that most shameful behaviors are shameful for this reason because we consider them shameful. And why do we consider them shameful? Because the society in which we grew up considers them shameful. So manipulators will convince you to say something that you should be ashamed of that thing. Or suppose you have some secret that you don't want at least those people who are very close to you to know. So, the manipulator might tell your secrets to those people or directly or indirectly threaten you that if you don't obey me, I will reveal your secrets. Traditionally, what used to happen? Suppose society or some contractors of society made some rules related to society. Now society wants you to follow those rules. So this society uses shaming to make you follow its rules, that when you do not follow those rules, society will make you feel ashamed to punish you. Additionally, shaming is used to ensure that children behave properly. But malicious people insult you in various ways for their own benefit. They can abuse you, or suppose you give an idea, show some emotion to them. Then in response to all this, they can show expressions of annoyance. make sarcastic remarks, roll their eyes, or tell your secrets to others. These are some methods of shaming because whenever the manipulator does all this, you will feel ashamed about yourself and your behavior. Malicious people also shame for this reason so that they can belittle you and show themselves above you. Additionally, manipulators use shaming to hide their own flaws and weaknesses so that they can divert the attention of those around them and hide their incompetence and true character. Additionally, sadists will shame for this reason. When you feel uncomfortable, feel bad about yourself, then they will feel good. On the other hand, a narcissist will shame you for this reason so that they can show others that they are better than you. And a Machiavellian will shame you for their own benefit with the aim of changing your behavior. Shaming is largely similar to guilt tripping, but there is a difference. Shaming is only possible in the public arena. And shaming works most effectively where those people are involved whose opinions are important to you. And malicious people know that there are some things you don't want others to know. It is precisely here that they can use shaming to change your behavior. Now let me explain things with some examples. First example, suppose you are a college student. That is, you are over 18 and you smoke cigarettes. And at least factually, it doesn't seem wrong. But you also want your parents not to know this, at least until you are in college. It's okay if they know after college is over. So here, a manipulator can threaten shaming to manipulate your behavior. They can say that if you don't obey me, I will convey this information that you smoke cigarettes to your parents. The second example is slut shaming. This is mainly faced by girls. The closest Bengali translation of the word slut is the word that our society uses for girls who work in red light areas. What word? You guessed it yourself. The word slut also has no gender opposite. That is, this shaming is only faced by girls. In this, the malicious person uses a girl's sexual relationships, past or present, to change her behavior or to defame her character. That is what happens in this. An attempt is made to insult or shame a girl based on her sexual relationships. I will discuss this topic or this misogynistic approach in detail in the video series Unfinished Sexual Revolution that I am about to start. Third example. This is a very extreme example of shaming. This is shaming using revenge porn. For example, suppose you have become involved in a relationship with a malicious person and you have had a sexual relationship with them. And when these kinds of sexual relationships were happening, with your consent or unknowingly and without your consent, he took some pictures of you or made some videos. So when you think of moving away from that person, he can directly or secretly threaten you that if you think of moving away from me, I will send this video to your family members or bring it in front of the whole world. So whether you are a woman or a man, one piece of advice for you is never to click these pictures and videos when you have a sexual relationship with someone. Because there is no greater foolishness than this, because you should know that even after being deleted from the mobile, nothing is deleted. Any picture can be easily recovered. So, for example, if you have some such pictures and videos on your phone, and your phone gets lost, then if the person who found that phone has even a little knowledge about digital technology, they can recover all those pictures and videos that were once on your phone, even if you have deleted them. And our society is not yet mature enough that even if a girl's nude picture comes into the public domain, it does not affect that girl's honor. So, when society becomes mature, you can click these kinds of pictures, no problem, but don't do so now. Only very cunning manipulators can successfully use this. Actually, narcissists, sadists, and psychopaths also use it, but Machiavellians are skilled at using it. So, if you want to know about the 4 types of personalities like narcissists, sadists, psychopaths, and Machiavellians, then you must watch Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 4 videos of this series, Vilifying the Victim, a Deceptive Tactic. So today, the manipulation tactic I'm going to discuss with you is called vilifying the victim. So before I proceed in this video, a request to you. If you are new to our BookBuzz channel, then follow BookBuzz now. I am starting the video. I will explain this with an example. For example, Sonny is a manipulator, and he is playing games with Vicky. That is, here Vicky is the victim, the one who is suffering. So Sonny will convince the people around him that Vicky is wrong. He himself is the abuser. Vicky made the mistake. That is, when a manipulator declares the victim to be the villain, it is called vilifying the victim. And this technique can be best used by 2 types of manipulators. Firstly, covert narcissists, and secondly, Machiavellians. Because these 2 types of manipulators are very cunning. They pretend to be very intelligent, helpful, and caring people in the eyes of the world. but they can completely destroy those with whom they play games. That is, those who are their targets, because their true character may very rarely come out unless they are unlucky. Bad luck can happen in such a way that, suppose a covert narcissist was continuously playing games with someone under the guise of fake love, affection, care, etc., and had almost destroyed their life, trying to bring them completely under their control, but the other person was not coming under complete control. Then what happened was that the victim, that is, the one with whom the game was played, caught on to this covert narcissist's trick and understood that the person they considered their own was actually a monster. And after this, if the victim's brain works fast, then they can bring the true identity of that manipulator in front of the whole world. They can expose this covert narcissist. But this can only happen when the victim, although an emotional person, has a fast-working brain. So, suppose playing with emotions, the narcissist has almost destroyed the victim's life very cunningly. But now the victim has understood what has happened to them. So now two brains will confront each other, the narcissist's brain versus the brain of the one with whom the game was played. So, let me explain one more thing here. Those who are Machiavellians, when they play games with someone, they do so only for their own benefit, and keep in mind that the victim should not lose everything because of the game they are playing with them. In this case, narcissists are a bit more foolish. They might be able to explain how dangerous a game they can play with the victim just for their own ego, to make the victim bow before them, to show themselves better than the victim in front of the world, and to show themselves more successful than them. That is, they can play so much that if the victim does not bow before them, then by playing mind games, they will break them mentally and in other ways so much that the victim will start thinking of dying. That is, a narcissist can take away everything from the other person, do anything, how low can they go, to make them bow before them. So if a manipulator plays such a game with someone that as a result of that game, the victim loses everything and was almost dying. But then, if they decide that no, before dying, an account will be settled for the game played, then that manipulator might have to face the biggest challenge of their life. Because a bigger challenge than this might never come, because no one can be more dangerous than someone who has nothing left to lose. As happened with Vicky in the mind game story, he had nothing left to lose, and he was thinking of dying. If, for example, Vicky had thought before ending his life that Sonny's actions would be accounted for, then I am telling you the truth. No one could have stopped this accounting. So don't play so much with anyone that they lose everything. Let's move on to the topic now. A manipulator can slander a victim in two ways. Firstly, the manipulator will instill the idea in the minds of those around them, through perception management or some other means, that the victim is the real abuser and the victim made the mistake. That is, when a manipulator declares the victim to be the villain, it is called vilifying the victim. And this technique can be best used by two types of manipulators. Firstly, covert narcissists, and secondly, Machiavellians. Because these two types of manipulators are very cunning, they pretend to be very intelligent, helpful, and caring people in the eyes of the world, but they can completely destroy those with whom they play games. That is, those who are their targets. Because their true character may very rarely come out unless they are unlucky. Bad luck can happen in such a way that, suppose a covert narcissist was continuously playing games with someone under the guise of fake love, affection, care, etc., and had almost destroyed their life, trying to bring them completely under their control, but the other person was not coming under complete control. Then what happened was that the victim, that is, the one with whom the game was played, caught on to this covert narcissist's trick and understood that the person they considered their own was actually a monster. And after this, if the victim's brain works fast, then they can bring the true identity of that manipulator in front of the whole world. They can expose this covert narcissist. But this can only happen when the victim, although an emotional person, has a fast-working brain. So, suppose playing with emotions, the narcissist has almost destroyed the victim's life very cunningly. But now the victim has understood what has happened to them. So now two brains will confront each other, the narcissist's brain versus the brain of the one with whom the game was played. So, let me explain one more thing here. Those who are Machiavellians, when they play games with someone, they do so only for their own benefit and keep in mind that the victim should not lose everything because of the game they are playing with them. Avoiding answers and evasion tactics. If a person uses any kind of strategy to avoid answering a direct question or evades it, it is a clear sign of deception. This means the person is either trying to hide something or is trying to avoid giving a proper answer. Covert intimidation and guilt tripping. Covert intimidation and guilt tripping are two powerful manipulation techniques that use a person's emotions to control them. Covert intimidation works on fear. Guilt tripping works on compassion, kindness, and empathy. Psychologists call individuals who frequently use these two techniques a covert aggressive personality. Essentially, these people are wolves in sheep's clothing. They have two faces, one that is clean, filled with good qualities and shown to the world, and another that is dangerous and animalistic, which they hide. The second face is their true self, but it rarely comes to light. Covert intimidation. This technique subtly and cunningly instills fear in the victim's mind. It's most effective when the manipulator knows a lot about their target, their desires and fears. Example 1. Professional. If your boss knows you are trying to get a promotion, they might use this information to their advantage. They might ask for personal favors and indirectly make you feel that your promotion is in their hands. They won't say it directly, but they will make you feel that you need to please them and do what they say, or your promotion could be stalled. Your boss is using your desire for a promotion to control you. Example 2. Personal. If you are emotionally needy and have a constant fear of being alone, a selfish partner can use this fear to their advantage. For instance, if you are thinking of breaking up with your girlfriend, she might repeatedly make you feel that you won't find anyone else, and that if you break up, you'll be alone. When your fear of being alone intensifies, you'll drop the idea of breaking up. Here, your girlfriend is using your fear of being alone for her benefit. Guilt tripping. Guilt tripping is another manipulation technique where the manipulator makes you feel bad or guilty to get what they want. This can be done in several ways. To make people doubt themselves. If a manipulator wants you to do something and you don't want to, they will question your competence related to that task. You will then feel bad and guilty, and to prove the manipulator wrong, you will do whatever it takes to complete the task. To make people anxious. If your friend wants you to attend their party, but you don't want to go because you feel anxious in social gatherings, they might say, "If you don't come, I'll think you're avoiding the party." You will feel pressured and worry about what your friend will think. And to relieve this anxiety, you'll agree to go. Your friend is using your fear of social gatherings against you. To make people reveal the manipulator. Imagine your narcissistic cousin helps you, and then secretly makes you feel that you should be grateful and respectful to them in public. While it is good to be grateful, be cautious of people who help you to gain control over your life and then use that control to harm you or take advantage of you. In guilt tripping, the manipulator first makes a person feel they are selfish. The person then goes out of their way to prove they aren't selfish by doing what the manipulator wanted. Example 1. In a relationship. If you are dating someone who is a manipulator and only wants a physical relationship, they might ask for sexual favors early on. When you refuse, they might say, "Maybe you don't trust me," and indirectly remind you of some favors they did. To prove that you trust them, you will end up doing what you didn't want to. Example 2. Gifts. Your manipulative girlfriend might ask for expensive gifts. When you logically explain that you can't afford them, she might lovingly say, "You don't care for me or love me." This statement is completely emotional and not based on logic. She is indirectly telling you that you value money more than her happiness. This will make you feel guilty and afraid of losing her. Under the influence of guilt and fear, you'll get her the gifts she wants. Guilt tripping works so well because it is not based on logic, but on emotion. When you care for someone, you feel a sense of responsibility toward them, which gives that person the power to make you feel guilty. Shaming is another form of manipulation that manipulators use a lot. It is a social construct, and what is shameful for one person might not be for another. Manipulators use this to make you believe that you should be ashamed of something you said or did. Historically, shame was used by society or its enforcers to ensure people followed rules. It was also used to make sure children behaved well. In manipulation, malicious people use shaming to belittle you, make themselves seem superior, and hide their own flaws. A narcissist will shame you to show others that they are better than you. Sadist will shame you because they enjoy seeing you in distress. A Machiavellian will shame you to change your behavior for their benefit. Shaming is similar to guilt tripping, but is only effective in public or where people whose opinions matter to you are involved. Example 1, smoking. If you are a college student who smokes but you don't want your parents to know, a manipulator can threaten to tell your parents if you don't do what they say. Example 2, slut shaming. This is mainly faced by women. A malicious person uses a woman's sexual history to humiliate or shame her to change her behavior or tarnish her character. Example 3, revenge porn. This is an extreme example of shaming. If you have a physical relationship with a malicious person, and they secretly take pictures or videos, they might threaten to release them to your family or the world if you try to leave them. Vilifying the victim. Vilifying the victim is a manipulation tactic where the manipulator portrays the victim as the villain. The manipulator convinces others that the victim is the abuser and the one who is at fault. This technique is best used by two types of manipulators: covert narcissists, Machiavellians, both. Of these types of manipulators are cunning and appear helpful and caring to the world, but they can destroy their targets. Their true nature rarely comes to light unless they are unlucky. If a victim recognizes the manipulator's game and acts quickly, they can expose the manipulator's true identity to the world. Narcissists versus Machiavellians. Machiavellians manipulate for their own benefit and usually ensure that the victim doesn't lose everything. Narcissists can play a much more dangerous game out of pure ego. They can mentally break a victim to the point where they contemplate suicide, just to make the victim submit to them. A narcissist can take everything from a person to make them submit. However, a manipulator faces their biggest challenge when the victim has nothing left to lose and decides to fight back, because there is no one more dangerous than a person who has nothing left to lose. Tactics to undermine self-respect. Manipulators choose their words carefully to damage your self-esteem. They directly attack your accomplishments or belittle them. Because you're emotionally connected to them, you don't critically analyze their words. You just feel confused. Example 1, a playful jab. You excitedly tell a friend or a manipulative family member about your promotion. They might say, "You must have gotten lucky." This seemingly harmless comment subtly questions your achievement, implying it was due to chance, not skill. If this happens consistently, you'll start to doubt yourself. Example 2, social isolation. A manipulative spouse might try to isolate their partner by saying, "You know they don't really like you." This leads to a chain reaction. The partner's trust in their social circle diminishes. They become isolated from friends and family. Feeling rejected, they become more emotionally dependent on the spouse. This dependency allows the spouse to easily influence their life and decisions. The spouse uses them as a tool to satisfy their ego. The partner's self-respect is shattered. Without self-respect, the person becomes highly reactive and susceptible to manipulation by anyone. Lying as a manipulation. Tool manipulators are masters of deceit. They use two specific types of lies. Lie by commission, lie by omission, lie by commission. This is a classic lie, a straightforward falsehood told to achieve a goal or deceive someone. Example, saying you went to the movies when you were home all day. Manipulators lie even when it's not necessary. A narcissist might lie to seem impressive, claiming to know a famous person. A sadist might lie just to cause you distress. For them, every lie serves a purpose. Lie by omission. This is a dangerous lie where the person tells the truth but intentionally leaves out crucial information. It creates misunderstandings and is hard to detect. If caught, the liar can easily claim, "I only told you what you asked." This is also known as exclusionary detailing. Example, a salesperson only highlights a product's good features while hiding the bad ones. Manipulators use this to control your reactions and thoughts. A malicious person might hear 10 good things about you but only one bad one. They will then tell you only the bad one, exaggerated, to create a rift between you and that person. Failing to correct misconceptions, this is a specific form of lying by omission. The manipulator creates a false impression and allows it to spread without correcting it. Example, in a story about two friends, Sonny and Vicky, Sonny gives Vicky his ATM card to fix his bike, which costs a small amount. Later, when talking to a mutual acquaintance, Sonny makes it sound like he's financially supporting Vicky completely. Sonny lets this misconception grow because he wants praise without earning it. A truthful person would have said, "Vicky hasn't taken any money from me yet." Gaslighting is the most dangerous form of manipulation, but it works slowly. It can make a person doubt their own memory, perception, and reality, potentially driving them insane. The term comes from a 1938 play where a husband manipulates his wife into believing she's going crazy by secretly dimming the gaslights and denying it. A manipulator will deny a past event you clearly remember, making you question yourself. This tactic is often used on people who are emotionally dependent or lack self-confidence. Gaslighting can also be used on a societal level by leveraging existing stereotypes or religious traditions to make people doubt their own instincts. Other manipulation methods include invalidation, where a manipulator pretends not to understand you, and distorting memories, where they tell you a counter story to make you doubt your own recollection of an event.